Broadcast. Testing, that should be working. Hello, I'm just about to join the Discord. I'll be there in a second.
Have you ever had
Hello, can you hear me?
Gaviscon or whatever it is?
Hello.
No, there's a drink of polo at the moment, no.
Can you
Is
hear me?
Webby late again?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh no, there he is.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yo.
What's going on?
Right?
Good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Good. In the hood. Good. Hello,
Just
Hogarth.
making
How
a
are you
quick
doing?
ciggy before we start.
That's
Good
all
usual
right.
suspects. Usual suspects in here.
Yeah. It's all good, man. It's all good.
Why did Stunty go off last week?
Go off.
He sounded a bit bummed out when he went off last week, I noticed.
Oh, don't know, mate, to be honest.
Don't know.
Either that or he was tired, I guess.
Yeah.
Happens to us all when we get to that age, mate.
You're not at that age.
I'm almost there.
I'll say it'll happen to us all when we get to that age.
I'm almost there.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I actually sprung out of bed with a spring in my step instead of rolling over and being like all bunged up and feeling like I haven't had a good night's sleep, even though I've slept for like 6.5 hours.
Yeah.
I think. Sometimes you'll wake up after 4.5, 5 hours and you're fucking ready to go.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Just listen to the Cyberpunk soundtrack in the background.
Fair enough.
Good shit.
We've all had those magic times when you wake up at like 3, 4 in the morning or whatever it is to have a piss and you feel quite alert.
Yeah.
But then when you go back to sleep, you're pretty much guaranteed a dream because your mind started to tick over somewhat.
Shit.
Yeah, man.
Oh, just let me know whenever you're ready.
Yeah, man. Ready whenever.
Just waiting for Darren to have his cancer stick.
It's so you don't have to put up with the wind blowing in the mic.
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
Nice.
Have you watched any of the Game Awards trailers, Dan?
Nope.
Okay, we'll have to explain it all to you. Yeah, it's fine. Well, I'll be playing them all.
There is actually a
actually
a half-hour. There's a half-hour viewing of them all on YouTube. You can just sit and watch them all in one go.
Fair enough. So I've had a busy weekend, so doing stuff. It's fine. Alright.
Oh, there's so many trailers. I need to actually. I'm worried about. I'm wondering if to preload them all on YouTube or it will destroy my computer.
Probably will.
I'll get a few ready.
It's just remembering the names. Have you got them written down?
Yeah, I've written them all down. Yeah.
Oh, I'm on the vodka tonight.
Otherwise, I'll never remember otherwise.
Cool. I did hear about Perfect Dark. I think that's about it.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen the trailer though. It's what was it last night? Was it?
No. Yeah, the problem is with a lot of them though is they're just like most of them, unless they're indie games, they're just like the CG stuff. So you can we actually see the gameplay, please? Like, to get us a bit more excited. Although one of them we're actually going to see gameplay for on Thursday.
Well, we did see gameplay for a few games anyway, which we'll talk about.
But yeah, that one by the ex-Left 4 Dead guy.
Yeah, Back for Blood.
That's getting a gameplay showing on the 17th.
Well, they showed some gameplay at the Game Awards, didn't they?
I don't know. I just saw the trailer. Like
they showed quite a lot of gameplay, and it is basically just Left 4 Dead.
Yeah,
which is
like
great.
Left 4 Dead
which is
great.
Yeah.
World War Z kind of thing.
It's with zombies, is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And big zombie things.
Gotcha.
I'm almost ready. Another 3 or 4 drugs.
Oh, I've loaded up a few vids. I'm just gonna have to load them up as I talk, as we talk about them.
Gotcha.
One of the trailers, Dan, you've got to watch just for how weird it looks.
Okay.
Ark. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh yeah.
With everyone's favourite video game protagonist, Vin Diesel.
Uh-oh.
That was quite a good trailer, actually.
Some of it was really well done. He wasn't. It kind of looked a bit off in places. All right.
All
Are
good.
you ready to rock?
Yeah, I am done.
All right, we'll go down then down. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Good.
Cool. Episode 50 as well.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Almost a year.
Oh no. It's been a year. It's been a year, man.
It's been a year since the comeback, bloody hell.
It's been over a year now. Yeah. Just over.
Oh yeah, because it was every 2 weeks, wasn't it?
So when we're stopping it again then?
We're not, mate. We're not. It's all good.
Okay.
It's quite funny because I had one person join our Discord the other day, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't realise you'd come back. I've got all your episodes to catch up on." I was like,
"Oh, good." Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and I was just like, "Oh, are you not on the social medias or what?" You know, I think there's a lot of people in that kind of, you know,
avoiding Twitter like the plague.
I think there's quite a lot of people that just don't know that it's come back because they don't do social media, which is a little bit of a shame. But there we go. Things have changed quite a lot since the good old days of iTunes.
Yeah. Oh well. Never mind, eh?
Yeah.
No more reading the iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews, all the 1-star ones.
Yeah. I used to enjoy the 1-star iTunes reviews.
I wonder if we had any recently.
I don't know. I don't even have iTunes on my computer anymore.
I'll have a look.
Yeah.
I've got it somewhere.
All right, we ready?
Yeah, man.
Okay, and a 3, and a 2, and a 1. Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 50 for Tuesday, the 15th of December, 2020. I'm your host, Mark Webb, Gamertag, PSN ID, Steam ID, Webby360G, and joining me today is...
Better late than never, Cinema Dan.
And Sensei Glitch. Quite happy this week, really.
You know what I've just realised when I just looking, just reading out the date? We've got one more podcast until Christmas.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yes.
Anyway.
Because the next one will be on the 20th. So that'll be our Christmas episode where we have to sing songs and stuff.
I've never sang a song in one of these fucking Christmas
I've got
episodes.
to sing some Christmas carols to our listeners.
Historically, I've refused to come on these podcasts when you insist on singing. So I'm putting it out there right now. I'm usually just a reliable week in, week out, but considering it's a sing-along, fuck it, no.
Bar humbug.
Yeah. You get what you pay for, mate.
Well, next to the Christmas show is going to be the Patreon show as well.
Is it the Patreon show next week, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fine.
So the Patreons get the Christmas special.
Well, you won't get Peeps turning up.
No. Well, there we go. Cool. Anyway, into game. Oh, it's been a week, isn't it, guys? It's been a week. It's been mental. We've had the Game Awards. Controversial awards given out, some great gameplay trailers, and we've had the release of the most long-awaited game of the generation, Cyberpunk 2077. Been in development for over 8 years, and the reviews have been mixed by users. So... It's
to put it mildly.
Yes. So we will get onto that shortly. But what I want to talk about before Cyberpunk is the Game Awards, because the Game Awards actually happened on Thursday, the same day that Cyberpunk came out. Yeah, Thursday night, but obviously it was like midnight in the UK. So I watched them all on Friday morning. 3.5 hours of my life.
The things you do for us, thank you.
Well, it wasn't actually 3.5 hours because I fast forwarded a lot of the awards because they were just boring as balls. But we had quite a lot of good game announcements and game trailers actually.
Yeah.
I'm quite excited for a few games now, which is always quite nice. So I'm going to go through the ones I've written down. Darren, if I've missed any, then just poke me with a stick. Okay, so first game that I've got, I think I only wrote down the ones that I think were half worth talking about. So the first one is called Century Age of Ashes. Now this is a dragon fighting game. For all of these games I've written down, I haven't written the release date down. So I don't think many of these trailers actually put release dates down for the games when they're coming out. But this game looks a little bit like
Panzer Dragoon.
Yes,
that's what I thought it was at first.
Yes,
I knew there is a reboot of that in the works.
Yeah, I think there's been a remake of that actually.
There has been a remake.
Yeah, it's out already, isn't it?
Yep.
I think it just kind of snuck out there. Not many people have played it, I don't think. But yeah, the Century Age of Ashes is basically a multiplayer dragon. Oh, February 2021, so not long. A multiplayer dragon fighting game. So you're flying around and you're on a dragon. Well, you are a dragon and you're shooting dudes. That's about it. That's all I got from that. Looks okay. I thought it looked quite cool, actually. I don't know what you thought, Darren.
I think it looks all right. Obviously that I was like, this looks interesting, and then it said like in multiplayer PvP, and I was like,
yeah.
I think it's PC only as well. I didn't see any of the typical console names attached to it. It just said Steam, I believe. You could register
Unreal,
for
Microsoft Steam, Epic. Yeah, I think it's just a PC game for the moment. Yeah, I think you're right there. But I'm pretty sure that'll come out on consoles. It's got to.
Wasn't there a really early PS3 game where you was like on dragons and stuff, and it was kind of had a lukewarm reception?
I don't know, mate.
Can't remember what it was called. It had some hype around it when it sort of came out, but I don't think it did particularly well.
I can't remember, mate, off the top of my head. No, I'm not really sure. Shall we move on?
Fair enough. Yep, might as well.
One game that I was pretty... Oh, bloody hell. I've got volume on. I'll turn that off. One game that I was actually very shocked at, and it was a complete surprise to me, and I think everyone else, because no leaks... I didn't see any leaks for any of these announcements beforehand, and usually you get leaks for award shows and events and stuff. A new Perfect Dark game is coming out. And that's got me quite excited because I love Perfect Dark. Great game on the N64. The Xbox version, take it or leave it really, but I still have fond memories of it. A lot of good nostalgia feelings for the N64 game. Now, there wasn't actually any gameplay in this trailer. I think that's kind of a running theme from this award show. A lot of it was just, CG trailers, but it looks interesting. It's kind of set in a futuristic world, and it looks a bit dystopian. And I think Joanna Dark's there to stop someone from destroying the world or something. Looks kind of like one of those type of games, but the trailer looked quite cool.
The locations and stuff looked interesting anyway. Very sort of Killzone-esque.
Yeah.
Like Shadowfall.
Yeah. So because a lot of the trailer,
with the Perfect Dark aesthetic.
Yeah, because a lot of the trailer was going through this building, and then it kind of ends where she's on top of this building overlooking like a deserty type area. If memory serves, was just coming up on the trailer. Yes, it's in Egypt because the pyramids are in the background, and there's loads of thunder and lightning going and stuff. Yeah, so I'm quite hyped. There's going to be a new Perfect Dark. I don't think there's a release date for it though, but I just think it was a nice
Rare
surprise.
that's heading it up? I'd imagine it would be.
Well, just I mean, it's next. Well, it's got to be because it's Rare's. It's Rare's baby, isn't it?
Yeah, but like they've generally been on sort of like Avatar duty and stuff, haven't they? I think recently, like with the Xbox stuff.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so I just thought it looked. I was just something I was surprised about, and looks quite cool. All right, next game then. So I just need to. I'm trying to get ahead of myself a little bit. Back 4 Blood. Now this is another game that I was very shocked about. I didn't hear anything about it, and because we've all been wanting a Left 4 Dead 3. I mean, we've all got fond memories of playing Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 co-op on the Xbox back.
I don't know many people that have got a bad word to say about that game at all.
No.
Like, everyone I know who's played it likes it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So the same team who made the Left 4 Dead games are making this game Back 4 Blood. Now, what's quite cool about it is at the Game Awards they showed actually a really cool trailer with 4 characters, and they're all were working together to kill all the zombies, and it shows off all the varieties of monsters that very similar to the Left 4 Dead games. Like you had your different ones, your witches, your lickers, the big bad big guys who took ages to kill, who spat on you. Yeah, the boomers. It looks like those kind of varieties of enemy are all in the game with some extra ones as well. And what they did after the trailer is they showed off some gameplay as well. There was about 3 or 4 minutes of gameplay, and it is basically Left 4 Dead. You start off in a safe room, and then you leave the safe room, and then you go out and you're working your way across the map. So it is pretty much exactly the same setup as the Left 4 Dead games. So I'm hyped for it, man. It's going to be
it looks good,
really,
man.
really good. I'm just hoping it's crossplay. That's my big one.
Was it touted for? It's obviously PC, but I'm guessing we'll get it on.
I imagine
it'll come to everything. It'll come to everything, mate. They'd be silly not to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be good because obviously, don't forget, PlayStation didn't get to play Left 4 Dead.
They didn't, did they?
Oh, did they not?
PC only.
No, they didn't. No.
Here we go. Pre-alpha gameplay. There we go. Yeah, so as you can see, it looks very Left 4 Dead in a safe. You got the safe room there, as you can see, and they're all in it. There you go. There's the gameplay. Remember, this is pre-alpha, so this is super early gameplay. I'm sorry for those people that are listening who aren't watching on Twitch, but just go to YouTube and look for it. It looks pretty awesome.
It's pretty good in the fact that people have been clamouring, like you say, for obviously a number 3, but as we know, Valve can't count to 3s on any of their games.
They keep going to 4, don't they?
Yeah. We didn't even get a Half-Life 2 episode 3
no.
out of that. So yeah, studio's obviously gone, well, screw you then, we'll do our own.
Yeah.
And there's another game that is a fan favourite that's also kind of getting a spiritual successor that was also shown off at the Game Awards.
What game's that?
Well, I'll let you know when we get to it.
Yeah, because I probably
will. By the same team that made. It's made by people that were behind the Dead Space series.
Oh, yep. I think that's on my list. Shout at me if it isn't. Pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got a weird name.
Okay.
This has jumped to my most anticipated already.
Dan, I can't believe this is why you should always.
Dude, I've got social life.
I know you've got social life, but when I this man, I was putting
substantial meals all fucking week, mate.
I even
so many chicken wings yesterday. It was stupid.
Well,
so much halloumi and chicken.
This shows me that you don't look at my Twitter feed enough, Mr. Dan.
I mute you most of the time.
Because
you post on there.
because I put this on my Twitter feed saying I'm really hyped about this game and a link to the YouTube video.
Well, I was busy, mate. Sorry.
That's fair enough. June 22nd, 2021. Coming to all platforms. All platforms, it says there. Yeah.
God, that'd be good if they can pull it off like 6 months later.
Well, they're going to have to beta test this left, right, and centre, aren't they? They're going to have to.
Yeah, I've signed up for the beta actually on PC.
Oh, good. Yes. What was it? If you go back, it was at PS4. It said on there a little bit.
This is Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS5, PS4, Steam, Epic Games.
Another reason I don't have to bother with an Xbox Series X right away.
There you go.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's really good.
Unless they're going to glitch the fuck out of it, but we'll see.
Well, and obviously you just think as well, like generally, even if you've got a PS4 or a Xbox One, when you upgrade to obviously the next gen systems, you'll probably be able to play this.
Oh, exactly.
On the Xbox guaranteed, you'll be able to just use that.
Yeah, exactly.
On that, and off you go, carry on where you left off.
Yeah.
Good. So it's June. Oh, June the 22nd.
Good.
Excellent.
And we'll probably still be in lockdown by then. Lols.
No, we won't. Jeez. Year of little faith.
Hey man, I've gotten too used to working from home now. It's going to be killer having to go back to the office next year. Oh.
Not yet, no, mate. You won't be going back to the office until April, maybe May.
Oh, it's too early.
Well, deal with what you got at the moment and enjoy it.
Yeah. Being a lazy bastard. Anyway, on to games. Next game is Scavengers. Oh, keep on forgetting to mute all these videos. Yeah, so Scavengers looks quite cool. I've actually downloaded the beta, but I've not had a chance to play it yet because I've been too busy playing Cyberpunk, which obviously we'll get to later. I believe this has been in beta on PC for a little while, but I haven't actually heard of it. I hadn't heard of it until it was shown at the Game Awards, and it looks quite cool actually. It reminds me, what was that MMO game we played on the Xbox 360 Switch? And it had the TV show. What was that?
Defiance.
Defiance, yeah, it reminds me of Defiance a little bit. Just you're running around in this big kind of open world, and you're trying to survive, sort of thing. It looked it just reminded me of that for some reason. Just watching the trailer, but it seems like it's more about teamwork, and you're on this big map, and you've got to survive and capture areas and stuff. I just thought it looked quite cool. I
must have missed that one.
Yeah, I'll try and play the beta this week if I can, so I can talk about it next week and let you know what it's like. But yeah, it just piqued my interest. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say on it. Really, I just thought it looked quite cool.
Gotcha. It's all right.
Where are we now? Hood Outlaws and Legends. So this game, it's made by the Dead Space team. No, sorry, no, I've gone forward on my list. Sorry, Hood Outlaws and Legends. So I'm going on the next one. Hood Outlaws and Legends. It looks like Assassin's Creed style game, but it's multiplayer. So it looks like kind of a multiplayer Assassin's Creed. And look like they've even copied, the Assassin's Creed hidden knife in the arm, and it's all multiplayer, and you just go in and
stuff before. Yeah,
I've never heard of this game. It looks actually quite
it was showed off about around E3, I think it was, or maybe even pre-E3. It was it was one of the early games I think they talked about coming to next gen.
Early May.
It didn't look like immensely blew me away sort of a thing, but it looked like something that could be interesting depending on its execution.
Yeah, I just thought I'd pick this out because I was thinking that is just Assassin's Creed. That's what it looks like to me. But yeah, I just thought it looked quite cool. So anyway, I better get on to the next game that I kind of I read the wrong line on my show notes. So I think this might have been the one that you might have been on about, Darren. It's made by the Dead Space team. It's called the Callisto Protocol.
That's it. Yeah,
it's
that's
not
the one.
coming until 2022. But within the trailer, with the interview with the developers, they've said that they want to make the most scariest game ever made.
Good luck with
So
that.
yeah, so good luck with that. But
I won't be playing it.
I mean, the Dead Space games were pretty freaky anyway, but they were quite action heavy. Whereas this, I mean, it's just
They might be going full Event Horizon with it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they haven't shown any gameplay because the game's not out for yonks, but
they showed like obviously you see in the trailer they've teased obviously certain things like the dude in the prison cells got like what I would presume to be like a life bar on the back of his neck.
Yep.
So that you've got the sort of kind of cool sort of minimalist UI. That will obviously let you know, because obviously I really liked the way they did a lot of that stuff in Dead Space, like with the bars on the back of your suit for your health, and like your ammo count would come up on your gun when you'd lift it up in sort of like a display sort of a thing. So it looks very similar along that aspect. And obviously, as we know, EA closed down the studio that made those games after Dead Space 3, which I still thought was a good game. Failed to meet their sort of lofty expectations.
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard to judge what the game's about because it looked like there's a prisoner on the ship, and at the end of the trailer, the ship's flying off into space, and it's just kind of like, is someone going to come across it and investigate it? Are you going to be that person? You know, it's there's a lot of what's going to happen in this game? You know,
it'll probably be the old Aliens classic of like, something's gone wrong here. We'll send in a team to investigate, and shit hits the fan.
Yeah, more than likely, mate. But yeah, the thing is, I mean, they announce these games so far in advance now, but it's like so far away. Is it really worth announcing it now? You know, really?
Sometimes it can get the hype up, just as long as it's not like delayed and you get a trailer every year for the next 3 or 4 years.
It's also to
out.
encourage investors as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Cool. Shall I move on?
It is Yep. Go for it.
Okay. I'm not sure how many people are excited for this or not. I'm quite into I quite like the Warhammer universe, to be quite honest with you. So they announced Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide, and it looks like a first person shooter in the Warhammer universe.
Is this the one that's on the Xbox? Because there was one that was announced on Xbox, wasn't there? Like when they did their showcase earlier this year.
Where if it's already come out, I mean,
a group of 4. No, it hasn't. It's not out yet. They teased that it was coming soon.
Vermintide, you mean?
No. This was set in the 40k universe. Warhammer's set in like just that one was just Warhammer. But it was like you were it's around the same sort of era as like the Space Marine stuff, but you didn't play as a group of Space Marines. You played like more human, sort of like less heavily armored, like tanks on legs, basically. So it sort of like adds a little bit more vulnerability to your characters and stuff. But it seemed like it was going to be akin to Left 4 Dead. I don't know if it's that kind of one again.
I mean, I don't know, because the trailer for this looked very single player focused, to be quite honest. Very story driven, very fast and action shooter though, a bit like Doom. Just from what I saw. Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. It has a lot of melee weapons in it as well, so you're using a hammer and a sword and all that as well. So yeah, it looks cool. We'll see what it's like when it comes out. Not actually quite sure if there was a release date on that. No, there wasn't. So Warhammer Dark Tide anyway. Oh. Another little game that I thought looked quite interesting was called Open Roads. I think this is a PlayStation exclusive. I watched so many
This is
trailers the other day.
Annapurna Interactive or something, isn't it?
I think it's made by the Gone Home people. I'm not sure.
Yeah, possibly. It looked something very like that.
Yeah, the thing that kind of grabbed me with this is it looks like it's very. I love the art style, and I love the just the way it was narrated in the 2 minute trailer. It was all about, oh, my woman died and she left this mystery and we hidden treasure or something and we want to solve it. I mean, the art style reminds me of like the Broken Sword games. Just that really nice kind of hand drawn, looked like cartoon style. I mean, there wasn't any gameplay in the trailer. Just two ladies in a car just driving off into the distance in the countryside. I just thought it looked like one of those games that looks quite relaxing and will just be a really interesting story. So I'm guessing it's PlayStation exclusive because it's got PlayStation plastered all over the beginning and the end of it.
Ah, right. It could just be like one that they've got to deal with or something, but then some of their games do just come to PlayStation first and then hit other platforms later on.
Yeah, true. Another game that was shown, I don't think there was any surprises that this was going to be coming, a new Dragon Age game.
Ooh.
Yeah, again.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Again, no gameplay, which was a bit of a bummer.
That's because it looks like Anthem.
It's probably just an Anthem reskin. It's just using the same engine. I mean, it's been a long time since we've had a Dragon Age game.
Yeah, it was one of the pretty much launch games on the original Xbox One, wasn't it?
God, it's been forever.
Inquisition was the last one.
I loved Inquisition. Apart from, do you remember that controversy where you walked up to an NPC and he's like, I will give you this mission if you buy it from the EA store for $5.99.
I remember that. Don't remind me about that. It's like, what? Do you what? When are you peddling EA's wares? Stop it.
One way to break the immersion.
2014 Inquisition.
Wow.
You must have. I must say, sitting in that exact meeting, going, "I've got a great idea how to deliver DLC," and just watch the programmer's faces just melt in complete disarray. Oh my god! This fucker doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, we got to do it. Oh shit!
Yeah, I have high hopes for this. I mean, BioWare are quite renowned. They've never made a bad Dragon Age game.
I mean, this wasn't the only BioWare game that was kind of shown, or so shall we say, teased. All I'll say is recently, most of the heads of that company have left.
Yeah.
And this isn't the same BioWare that it was back in the day. This is the BioWare that gave us Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh God. Don't put me on a downer, man.
Sorry, I'm just saying, like, reel it in a little bit. Like, you can be excited for it, like a lot of people are, but just temper your expectations somewhat.
Yeah.
Or just wait for it on Ultimate Game Pass.
Yeah, in about 2 years' time, or 2 years after it comes out.
I'd be wary, mate. You've seen what they've done with the Need for Speed franchise.
True.
They'll probably make everyone race around in, dragon cars or something.
Bloody hell. Okay, right, I'm going to move on. All right, this game looked quite interesting to me, and I actually messaged Darren when I saw this. This is actually so what you're seeing on the Twitch feed now is in-game footage. So this game is called Crimson Desert. It's a brand new MMO that's coming out.
We don't know if it's an MMO or not. Like, this is that they've been very tight-lipped about that, and all I've heard from those devs is they kind of wanted to do a more story-focused action game.
Oh, because I saw.
Me,
okay.
Yeah, because it kind of doesn't look like it's got the sort of over-exuberant classes. This is supposed to be a prequel set around in that world. but it kind of just shows mainly like one character that you're playing as.
Oh, okay.
Or mainly in the thing. It doesn't look like it showcases a bunch of classes and loads of characters and stuff. So this could be like more along the lines of an action RPG single player game.
Hmm.
So it'd be interesting, but obviously Pearl Abyss, the developers of this who make Black Desert,
yeah,
generally they make a lot of their money out of microtransactions. That's pretty much what runs their company when it comes to like the mobile and console and PC versions of the MMO.
Yeah, it looks stunning. So I'm just doing a little bit of reading up on this while you've been chatting, Darren, and apparently this is an open world action adventure that blends single player narrative with online multiplayer in a fantasy world.
If a company out there can deliver to me something akin to say a Dragon's Dogma, where you're going around with a group of people, but those other people are actually players as well, experiencing the story and stuff with you in like as you're going through it.
Yeah,
I'm all in.
Yeah,
I'm all in on that.
Brilliant. Yeah, same here. I just read it was an MMO. I must, but now I've just read it isn't. So, it's not a prequel to Black Desert. So the title started as a prequel, but during development, they decided to create a different storyline. Oh, so that's cool. I mean, it looks fantastic. I mean, that trailer just that massive green lush world and just the different characters, the fighting swords and shields. Man, I was hooked as soon as I saw it. I was like, wow, this looks awesome. Yeah.
The only downside is depending on how long that game takes to come out, it could end up going up against something like Final Fantasy 16, which is pretty much the same thing, bar the multiplayer aspect.
Yeah, it's slated for next Christmas at the moment. It says.
We don't know as well if 16 isn't going to have some kind of online component anyway.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, this is the Realm Reborn team that are basically behind that. And obviously their foray is in MMO multiplayer games and experiences, which they're exceedingly good at.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, we shall see. And that's rumored to be out a lot earlier than people expect.
Yeah, I'm quite intrigued to see when that's coming out. To be honest, because depending on how long I'd have to wait for it to come out on PC, as I said, I might just buy a PS5 for that game. But we'll see. But yeah, this Crimson Desert, mate. I mean, you can tell it's made by the Black Desert people because Black Desert is very, very pretty in the graphics department as well, and you can kind of see it's using a similar engine just in this trailer, to be quite honest. But it looks beautiful.
Put as well by the typical sort of like action RPG combat stuff. The Black Desert MMO plays almost like a Dynasty Warriors game.
Yeah,
it's exceedingly fluid when it comes to its combat.
That's good.
You've got skills that are on cooldowns and stuff like that, but it's all about like combos and stuff like that, which you can just perform like you would in a like say a platinum game or something similar to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this looks very action heavy, to be honest. And I just say I'm just watching the trailer again now, and I'm loving the different creatures. It looks like you're fighting a little bit like Monster Hunter in a weird way. Just saw a person, diving on top of an enemy like in Monster Hunter, that and trying to bring it down. It looks like there's some dragon riding as well. I mean, it's got all sorts. It looks
sexy.
It does. It looks phenomenal. This is a game that I'm quite excited about, to be honest.
I imagine that's going to come to PC first before console, because like generally Black Desert did anyway. It all depends which way they're going to go, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't hit PC first and then console like about 6 months to a year later.
Yeah, it says winter 2021. It didn't have any platforms on the trailer, so yes.
Well, PC's guaranteed anyway.
Well, yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean they are, as you say, they are first and foremost a PC developer. I just did a quick Google and it says it's coming to all platforms on the front page of Google.
Ooh.
So yeah. Go.
So when's that? The end of next year?
Yeah.
Like rumoured.
Yeah.
I suppose by then it does that mean all platforms, as in including the current gen stuff?
Well, it says actually.
Next
So just take this with a pinch of salt. Just on the front page of Google, it says genre MMO, which we know is probably wrong now, and it says platforms PS4, Xbox One, and Windows.
Oh.
Yeah. So I wouldn't take that as gospel, because that's the front page of Google. So
I mean, to get it to run as well on, like, say, your base or lower spec Xboxes and PlayStations, it would be best to keep it to sort of like a co-op multiplayer kind of game, because it's when you chuck that MMO aspect into the mix and having the hundreds of players running around on a server with all that information, that's what causes you issues with like frame rate and other technical stuff.
Yeah.
Unless it's all mostly server based, who knows?
Definitely. Well, should we move on to the next one?
Cracking on, yeah.
Okay. Ark 2 was announced.
Ooh.
And it had a trailer with Vin Diesel.
he just haws himself out, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, you can see him now. I actually didn't. It took a while for me to realise what game this was for, because I was thinking, you know, I've not really played Ark, to be honest. It's not really my kind of game. It's more of a stunty game because he likes to run around with his willy hanging out. But yeah, I've not really got into the original game. So, but I know it's very popular. Before it even came to Game Pass, and it's obviously on Game Pass now. But it sold very well. It's got a very loyal fan base. So the fact that they're bringing out a sequel is not a massive surprise, but the fact it's got Vin Diesel in it, I don't know, does it make it worse? Because look at some of the games he's been in.
Well, what has he been in? He's just been in
the Fast and the Furious games, which are dog shit.
And the Wheelman. He was in the Wheelman as well.
And he probably voiced
Pitch Black.
There
was a Pitch Black
voiced
game as
Groot
well,
into the Telltale Guardians of the Galaxy.
He had his own gaming company at one point, didn't he?
Yeah.
Which I think developed like Butcher Bay or whatever it was, the perfect.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to be one of the better ones.
Well, yeah, it was supposed to be pretty good.
Oh, that was good actually. Yeah, that was amazing. That game, yeah. Escape from Butcher Bay.
I think that was that with Raven Software, slightly involved in
possibly.
that.
That rings a bell.
Sounds about right. Anyway, so Ark 2, set in like the Stone Age. And there's dinosaurs.
Futuristic Stone Age, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually quite futuristic, because it's like in the trailer it had like some computery thing, didn't it? It was really bizarre. Yeah. So is the first Ark like that? Because I say I've not played it, so.
No, I know there was like some controversy, wasn't there, a few years back when they did like a kind of spiritual successor to it. It was the same company. But people basically worked out that it was just basically a supposed expansion that they just cancelled and reskinned as another game.
Well, that's a bit rubbish.
And there was like huge issues with it, like where I see people playing it where the ping was so horrendous, where someone had like run forward and all of a sudden they were Paula Abduling all over the place, one step forward, 2 steps back.
That's annoying, yeah. Anyway, Ark 2. Not interested,
if you want
but
to see a really weird CG Vin Diesel.
Yeah,
Uncanny Valley all over the place there.
Look, it looks quite cool though. The graphics on that.
And what's he done to his body? Has he buffed himself up in the video game?
Yeah, he just goes up and says, "Make me bigger." I think. To the
yeah, he's good. He's getting on for 50 odd, isn't he now?
Yeah.
Oh well, I suppose that's how he's going to continue his career now.
Yeah. Right, shall we move on?
Yeah, go for it.
He's a gamer, so fair play. Like,
yeah, I do take the piss, but yeah.
Yeah, but he's not hardcore though, is he?
He's too busy filming films and earning millions, mate. So.
Well, yeah. Well, not at the moment, it seems.
Yeah. Okay. Next game is Outriders.
Oh, I almost heard you first say Outrun there, and I got quite excited. Now I'm not excited.
I wasn't really sure what to make of this trailer, to be honest. It reminded me a little bit of like Destiny in a weird way, mixed with kind of
it
Mass
is
Effect.
Destiny, Division, and kind of some other game that it escapes me right now, like All Had a Kid, and that seems to be what it's come out as. But this is one I've been hyped for a while. I mean, obviously, as we move on, it's kind of sort of like looking less impressive because obviously things are moving further on and on as we go. But it's basically a 3-player class-based RPG third-person shooter where you get to use all these really weird and wild varied abilities. There's tiered difficulty modes that you can scale up and down at your leisure when you reach certain goals that allow you to then knock it up to another difficulty, which will give you extra multipliers, extra increased legendary drop rates, enable you to equip sort of stuff that's over your current level and stuff. So, and it's not a games as a service either.
Ooh.
So it's
coming out
shouldn't
February
be, as far as we know. Yeah, it's not always online. So you should be able to play this offline and whatnot. So no worries about them turning the servers off and it becomes like a dead corpse, like Godfall or whatever it was that came out recently, to a sound of a wet fart on the PS5.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm interested in this. They announced quite early on as well that it's cross-play, so whether you're going to get it on PC or Xbox or PlayStation, you'll be able to play with each other. So
nice.
Keeps the games community going and whatnot, and everyone's kind of generally split across multiple platforms these days anyway, so it just makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a video up.
Platform game.
Yeah,
chuck it on everything or make it cross-play, should I say?
100%, 100%. Yeah, I think this game got announced quite a while ago. Because the video I'm showing now is it's from 5 months ago. That IGN showed us some gameplay. So
yeah, they've been doing like broadcasts every couple of months or so. I mean, like you might see a trailer and think, I don't know, but then if you watch each of the individual class trailers where they kind of walk you through what abilities the classes have got and what they can do, they're usually like about 15-20 minutes each. That will make you a lot more interested.
Okay.
There's some really weird and wonderful abilities, and obviously, like they said, like this is just a class on its own. Now imagine what that class is like if you combine those abilities with other players using other classes.
Yeah. I think it looks cool, man. As you say, with the classes and the different weapons and stuff. It's a game I'm definitely going to keep my eye on now, mate, to be honest.
I think it was pushed back, not because it wasn't ready or anything, but I think it is a game not many people are that aware of. Like I follow them on Twitter, and most of their posts will only get like a couple of hundred to 1,000 or so likes, which is pretty bad for a video game of like post. Usually you're expecting like sort of like 10,000 up or whatever, or at least 5,000 up for certain things. But it's either that the game hasn't been particularly well advertised, or so many people were busy with other things. And it was originally slated to come out around the sort of times of obviously Cyberpunk, Call of Duty, and it would have just got forgotten.
Yeah,
I think
it needs to come out in a quiet window.
Yeah, I think February's quite a good time because you'll have a few people that will get new consoles for Christmas and stuff, and you'll get like the odd 1 or 2 little gems that January throws out. It usually does.
Yeah.
But then like February's usually quite a dead month, and to have like a co-op looter shooter,
yeah, it's good,
come out. Yeah, I'm hoping it does well for them.
I hope so too, because Square Enix don't have a great track record of publishing these sorts of games today.
This is the Bulletstorm lot as well. So most of the weapons and impacts have that nice meaty sort of crunchy feel to them that they obviously got after they started working alongside Epic.
Yeah, I think it looks quite good, to be honest. It was really funny because before the Game Awards happened, I was quite thinking to myself, oh, there isn't really much coming out next year. I can catch up on that backlog, but that's looking less
Hell
and less
no.
likely now. So, yeah.
I'd be quite happy for a few months respite, to be honest, to get me to catch up and finish a lot of stuff. But yeah, like you say, it generally doesn't happen much.
No, that's a problem, isn't it? And you get the hype in that first launch week, and oh, I don't want to miss out.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you're owning a fucking digital copy or a premium copy with a fucking statue or something like that.
Oh God, I don't buy physical
And
anymore, mate, so I'm all right.
Patch.
Patch, yeah. You're buying a day one patch.
Day 100
I
gig
remember
patch.
years ago, I don't know if you remember this, Dan, but there was like
Yeah.
a computer magazine back in the day I remember buying and was like, yes, I've got an Iron on Street 2 sticker.
Yes.
Like you could iron it onto like a plain t-shirt.
When free gifts meant something, you know. Oh man, they don't do that anymore.
You'd get random stuff as well, didn't you? Do you remember like free packet of like Wrigley's gum or something, or some Bubblicious?
Yeah, beautiful.
Well,
Well,
when
that's
sample
well, there were
sample comic.
Well, there were mags targeting kids, and we were kids back then. Stuff like remember Mean Machines and
Mean Machines was amazing.
Oh,
yeah, I had some
one of my favourites growing up.
And Megatech was the
CVG.
CVG, yeah. Fucking hell, computer and video
One
games.
of my favourites was an American publication. Was it Game Pro or something? Or
yeah,
and it shut down. Their rating system was like different levels of excited face.
Oh, that's good.
It was how they rated their games.
Oh, I remember that. That was Well, Julian Rignall used to do that, didn't he? On the Jonas, it was the Zap 64, wasn't it? And they used to have these like pictures next to this shoddy little like 8-bit, or even not 8-bit graphics, like monochrome, fucking 6 colors or whatever. These like big old sad face, and you're like, it looks like Jet Set Willie. You like that? Fucking hell. Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Let's move on because we've got quite a lot to talk about.
We have got a lot to talk about.
I actually thought of you, Dan.
Oh God, don't do that.
Big time, mate.
People thinking about me worries me.
Depends what time of the day it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because there was a game announced, a game trailer shown that I thought, oh, Dan will like this. Evil Dead, the game.
Okay.
Obviously, you're a bit of a movie buff. You like to be, I
do like Bruce Campbell a lot. He's entertaining, and I do heavily rate the Ash vs Evil Dead TV show.
I've never seen that. I've heard so many good things though. It was like cancelled before its time.
Yeah, I mean it's 3 series worth, isn't it? I've got them all on DVD, and they are well worth watching. I think you can catch up with them on Netflix. I think, well, they were on Netflix at one point.
Probably not anymore.
I'll check for you whilst we're podcasting. I'll let everyone know because I'm sure there'd be some people listening in who are quite curious. But carry on, Webby.
I know.
Anyway,
people on Twitter loved it when it came out.
So this Evil Dead the game, it looks like it's a PlayStation exclusive.
Oh fuck!
Is it? I thought it was on Xbox. No, it was Xbox.
PlayStation just advertised for PlayStation on the trailer.
Really? I'm sure it was Xbox on the trailer that were advertising.
No, I've literally just watched it this second. I'm playing it again.
Oh yeah, there we go. PS5 and PS4.
Yeah.
Coming 2021.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'll probably get that.
It looks like a 4-player co-op shooter though.
It's third person, isn't it? And it does actually show some gameplay that looked all right.
Yeah, it actually looked quite good. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that. I don't know. It'll probably be one of those games that's timed exclusive to PlayStation, I imagine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I mean, in the end, we'll all have PS5s before you know it, won't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't it kind of reminiscent? I mean, the Friday the 13th game as well.
Yes,
which I never played.
Yeah,
it looks kind of. Well, I haven't played it, but I've seen some footage on it, and it looks kind of would probably be along those lines, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's very much a multiplayer game. You would have to play with people rather than a single player experience.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you can get to be Ash, aka Bruce Campbell, with your boomstick and chainsaw.
Yeah.
They show him chainsawing people and stuff.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that. And it looks like young Ash as well, as opposed to the old fuddy-duddy Ash in.
Didn't they do an Evil Dead game on the 360?
Yes, I think. Oh, it was on the.
Because I think there was an achievement called like "Here's my boomstick" or something that I remember, or something.
Probably. I can't remember, mate. I knew there was one on the Dreamcast because I played it and it was shit.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Ash vs Evil Dead. The first 2 series are on Netflix. Series 3 isn't no. Series 3 isn't no, but there's only time will tell before that comes on.
It's supposed to be a spiritual successor to the films, isn't it?
Oh, it's a sequel. It's I don't know, does it negate part 3? I don't think it. Yeah, I can't remember exactly.
No, part 3 was comedy value, though. It was kind of not to be taken fully seriously. Well, they kind of went more that way as they went on, obviously.
Well, this is this set after Evil Dead 2, pretty much. So, but he's like a washed up Ash, several years down the line, and he's defeated the Deadites, and it's his story then on, and he teams up with a couple of young'uns, and it literally is pure comedy.
Yeah, cool. That sounds good. Cool.
Good.
What, should we move on?
Yeah, man.
There is a new game coming out for the Nintendo Switch. Well, that's what it was trailered on anyway. I think it's coming to other platforms as well. Published by Capcom. Ghost and Goblins Resurrection.
Yes. Did you not see this, Dan? Oh.
Dan is jizzing in his pants right now.
He's left the chat.
Oh, you're joking?
No, he's back.
He's back.
Sorry, I dropped out for a second there. So what
I thought it was with excitement.
Excitement. Ghost and Goblins Resurrection. Oh. It's a sequel to Ghost and Goblins. Yes, it's an actual sequel in very nice, pretty graphics.
Watching it now, the graphics kind of remind me of, like, you know, the old when they used to do like old cutscenes of plays and they were like made out of paper and stuff.
Yeah.
Like animated, sort of like that. But it looks really cool.
It does.
Sorry, my excitement's gone through the fucking roof. So what are we watching here?
It goes coming February the 25th, Nintendo Switch.
What, exclusive. What is it called?
Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection.
Because it's got all the great scenes. It's got all the fucking bosses and shit. Oh,
yeah, the headless one and that.
That is going to be fucking evil incarnate. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's going to be hard as balls.
That was Dark Souls before Dark Souls. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's going on about Dark Souls is hard. You've never played a game that when you finally complete it, basically says, "Nah, mate, do it again."
I remember playing this. I remember playing the original at Arcade Club when I went a few years ago, and oh my fucking god, that is so tough.
It's the good thing is about there's various versions out there now. And there's Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Super Nintendo one is great as well. Man,
there's so many different copies of it. There's so many different versions. Like there's the Mega Drive version is different to the SNES version.
Do you remember the PSP version?
I don't have that, but I do have the one on the TurboGrafx, which is good.
Oh, nice.
So that's the Japanese version. So it's called I can't remember what the Japanese version's called, but it's. The thing is, well, once you start getting to these mini consoles, you have the ability to save point a lot easier. So it's a little bit easier than it was back in the day because I remember I finished it on the Mega Drive, I believe. Yeah, was it the SNES on the Mega Drive? Anyway, I finished one of them, and literally that was a sitting down, memorizing where all of the spawn points were, where all the power ups were. I needed to know. I used to hang around and try and get the best weapon for the best circumstance against the boss, because that was it. Once you knew how to do stuff, it was fine.
Yeah.
Everyone celebrated when you picked up the firebomb.
Oh, fuck that firebomb. Fuck it.
You lost your knife and picked up a firebomb.
No! You're sitting there spamming it, going, "Oh, fucking get something decent, come on." But even at the end, as I joked earlier, because it was the kind of game. If you don't know this about this game, but if you finish it, it basically says, go back to the beginning because this is not the true ending. And you've got to fucking do it all over again to get the better ending. And you remember sitting down and doing that twice with no fucking save points, no so only continues? I can't remember. I remember nailing the game.
3 at most.
Yeah. I remember finishing it. But that was just...
I mean, that's an achievement in itself. Yeah, just finishing it, yeah.
I mean,
I finished it once.
Yeah, I
didn't bother going through it again.
No, there's no point. I mean, remember back in those days, you didn't have YouTube, so you couldn't see the ending anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
until YouTube came along, I mean, I was in the dark about what it looked like at the end, what the end sequence was.
Wow.
Those were the days. Oh man, I mean, you've showed me 2 games. I'm hyper pumped for now, if that's
Brilliant.
such a word.
I'm glad I've made you happy tonight, Dan.
Good.
This is what doing homework is all about, making people happy.
Well, this is probably better. If you show me stuff on the podcast, see me get excited about things, it's probably
good.
Like price of admission alone.
You're cutting the chaff from the wheat and getting straight to the meal.
That's
exactly.
You don't have to watch 3.5 hours of bullshit.
Exactly, and then always you're just listening to the people that's listening to the 3 of us just chatting about something we watched and aren't inspired by.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm just overexcited now. I need to go and get something to drink. I'm going to get myself a Pepsi because I'm fucking hyper now.
Pepsi!
Carry on.
All right, next game is called Road 96. It looks like it looks like an indie game. It's a procedural road trip, according to the trailer. It's by the creators of Valiant Hearts. Did you ever play Valiant Hearts on the 360?
No, but I played a demo of it.
It was really well
actually,
done.
tell a lie. I think I might have picked it up in a sale, but ended up putting it down and never went back. But I really like the art style and the fact that it was all based upon real letters from the war. It was a heartbreaking game.
Yeah, it
pretty
was.
much, wasn't it? Because you played as like wasn't it a normal soldier, a female medic, and a Russian soldier or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was really well done. Well, this is basically about you trying to escape the country and get to the border to the next country. Something's happened. I'm not sure what, but apparently thousands of people are trying to escape this country and get across the border. But basically, the game is you have to hitchhike your way to the border, and it's all about, do you take rides with certain people? Do you not? And the story changes depending on who you get a ride with. So it sounds
you might jump in with the hitchhiker accidentally then.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds quite interesting. Mainly story based by the looks of it, with multiple endings and multiple things that can happen along the way. So I don't know. I just thought it looked quite cool. Yeah, not really sure on the platforms because I think it's only coming to PC at the minute, but I'm pretty sure.
I'd imagine it'd be all of them. Wasn't it lightly tied to one of the major developers or publishers? Like Ubisoft or someone like that?
No, it says CNC, Omen, Pixel Art, and La Region. Yeah, don't know who they are. Some French company, but yeah, it looks quite cool. It looks very pretty. Yeah. Next.
Yeah, next.
Okay. Oh, we've done Dragon Age, haven't we? Boop.
Yeah.
Another game I got quite excited by. It's published by EA. It's called It Takes Two.
Is this about
So it's by the same people that made A Way Out.
Joseph Fares or whatever his name is.
So they've done the same thing with this game where if one person buys it, a second person on a system can play it for free with that person.
Is really cool.
If they own it. But this one's more comedy based. So it's basically a husband and wife who aren't really getting along much at the minute, and it's basically about they go into this story and become kind of cartoon characters, and they don't become human again until they work together to save their marriage. So it's
that kind of sounds interesting, because obviously you do hear the story of like people forget kind of why they fell in love with each other and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it's all very fantastical because there's a book, like a comedy book guy. It's a book with a twiddly mustache, and he has a really cool voice. He's like, "Hey, you need to work through this story. Work together." you know, and find out why you fell in love and blah 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 blah. And the actual gameplay, from what they showed in the trailer, looks quite cool. Like, you know, all the puzzles are co-op based. You really have to work together to solve them and to get to the other side. So yeah, I think it looks cool. I mean, I loved A Way Out. It was really well done. So just from looking at the trailer for this, I believe from what I've seen, it looks very well done as well. So,
hopefully it does really well, because I think A Way Out did pretty damn well, didn't it, for EA, even though they kind of let him go out on his own and do his own little indie thing and didn't take a specifically huge cut that they usually do.
Yeah.
And gave him more freedom over his game.
Yeah.
Because that is an issue these days. Like, a lot of creators of all kinds of media these days don't have the creative freedoms.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. So yeah, I think I mean, this looks cool. Yeah, looks good. Next is a game called Evil West. Did you watch this one, Darren?
Yes, the trailer kind of reminded me of like an old game. I think it might have been called Dark Watch. I've mentioned it before. It was on like I think the original Xbox, mixed with like Jonah Hex, if you know that character is. There was a pretty dodgy film about it as well a few years ago with Josh Brolin and Michael Fassbender.
Okay, I mean, it kind of reminded. It's basically a Wild West game with zombies in it. So you're like, it kind of reminds me of Van Helsing in a weird way, with his cool hat and his bullets, and he's got a cool gun and
his terrible film.
Yeah, but it just looks.
I didn't mind Van Helsing, to be honest. I even didn't mind the Duran Duran Dracula character.
Yeah, so I mean,
and it had what's her face in it, so that was a plus.
Yeah, I mean, the game is all CG. There's no gameplay again, but it just looks, you know, just quite cool the way it's done. You know, where you're this Wild West dude and there's loads of zombies and you're beating the fuck out of them and shooting them.
What else do you want?
What else do you want in a game? Completely. Coming in 2021.
If it's if it's slightly semi-open world with like bounty hunting aspects and upgrades and tooling yourself up before your jobs and stuff, and like nice sort of like spiritual ghostly sort of things and stuff, then it could be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. Cool. Right, 2 more games then.
2 more games. Oh,
Scarlet Nexus. I'm not sure if this is a PlayStation exclusive. I think it might be.
No, it was showed off at the Xbox event as well.
Oh, okay.
Bandai Namco.
Bandai Namco. It's just because it's got the triangle X circle square in the corner, and they just said, "Oh, come into PlayStation." It looks quite cool. It looks like an anime style art style, but I quite like the way the story was shown in the trailer, because it's all about VR and AI and all that. So you're in this, I don't know, whereas you like jack in kind of like the Matrix, and then you go into this kind of fantastical world. But there's a reason for it. You've got to save the world by going into this virtual world or something. You know,
I mean, the graphics style. If I was to say a game that's close to that graphical style, Code Vein.
Yes, agreed. It looks it looks very, very nice, and it just looks like it has those epic boss battles. You know, there's giant big enemies, and
I'm hoping it's a game that kind of comes out when there's not much else about, because it's probably something I'll pick up, and it'll be even more bonus to pick it up if there's nothing else around at the time.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's just purely a single player campaign. Probably a long ass RPG.
I think it's going to have multiplayer in it. I believe.
Well, it's coming out in the summer next year, apparently. So hopefully it's a quiet time.
That could be good. Yeah. Well, summer usually is. Not many games. I think the only game that we actually got that released in the summer, during the summer months, that was like proper spot on that I can remember is Didn't Arkham Asylum come out in like summer as well?
I think it was it was an August game. I remember getting it for my birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, last one then. The last announcement at the Game Awards was a new Mass Effect game is coming.
Well,
Shock horror.
I did watch the trailer for this actually.
Yep. And your thoughts, Mr. Dan?
More Mass Effect, isn't it?
More Mass Effect.
It's there's not much to say other than it's back in the Milky Way, from what I can tell. And it's a hark back to Shepard.
Yes.
So we'll see, and we'll see all those dodgy decisions you made at the end of number 3 that didn't really make a fucking difference.
Yeah.
Well, they'll probably scrap it all from canon anyway and be like, "This is what really happened."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was just a CG trailer, and then the trailer ended where a character picks up an N7 metal plate from.
Well, people have already kind of looked, and like I know, obviously, was it Lyra or Liara? I can't remember her name.
Was it Ashari?
Something like that. It's been a long time, but that was the race that obviously picked it up. And then if you look in the background, there's someone that looks awfully a lot like Morden, and another one that looks similar to like Rex or Grunt.
It was in snow, so not well. Desert. Shows how good my memory is. Thank you, Luke Nukem, for subscribing.
Yay!
Legend. Yeah. So that's all the stuff that was announced that I wrote down. Anything you wanted to add, Darren, that I missed?
Well, there was one trailer. There's probably a few I've missed, but I know there was like an indie game trailer that I thought looked kind of cool. It's a shame I'm not really into the indie stuff, but if you are, it looks like interesting. It was basically about a little girl.
What was it called? Can you remember the name
and
of
her
it?
shadow. No. I can't remember entirely, but I think it launched when they showed the trailer because it said at the end, like, out now across all platforms. But it's basically like done in a very sort of cartoony sort of art style. And it's about a girl who's like separated from her shadow.
Oh,
and it's all about
yes.
It's all about basically. I don't know whether the whole game's like a metaphor for depression or something like that. Because it's like one of the robot kind of people she bumps into, I think, says to her about like you should never give up on going into the light if you stay in the darkness, sort of a thing. So
is it called Contrast?
What's that? Sorry,
is it called Contrast?
No, Contrast was a launch title
one,
for PS4 and previous. That was really good, actually. Contrast.
Shady
Similar
Part
kind
of Me.
Aspect. That might be it. It's like
yes, it
very,
is.
very It looks interesting. I was kind of interested in what I saw. I thought it's a really good idea. And yeah, there are obviously more and more games that sort of come out to sort of try and help people through various forms of like depression and traumas and things like that. I don't know whether it's linked to that kind of thing, but it looked pretty cool anyway, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, the Game Awards had a big theme, actually, obviously, because we've all been in lockdown. They had a big theme about mental health and how gaming actually helps to improve your mental health. I had like
definitely
adverts with different doctors who use video games to help people, etc.
Well, just look at the facts. Like we've all been stuck in our homes, but obviously you've got people like doing like Skype, Zoom to talk to their friends. I obviously talk to like you guys on here every week or whatever, and I speak to people online that I game with and stuff. So all of that kind of helps. If you cut all of that away, then that's going to affect you over time. It just will, like being isolated from everything.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, you got people who live on their own, it must be very difficult.
The real downer. Like I'm pretty not exactly the world's most social person anyway. So sort of like lockdown for me is just like an extended holiday to a certain degree. But there are a lot of other people out there that basically they need to connect to the real world, to other people, to have that conversations and stuff, and they're really suffering for all this.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, yeah. So any help that people
Some of
can
them
get
that
is
were making headways and stuff have now like lost all of that, and they've kind of regressed back into themselves again.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So
I mean, us humans are social creatures, aren't we? Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some of us are quite happy being living in a cave and being hermits, but most people need that connection.
Yeah, I do. But as I said, the last lockdown wasn't good for me. I mean, I'm quite fortunate at this current one, or this current spate. But yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly. You're right about video games. I mean, no wonder. I mean, I put nearly 500 hours into Animal Crossing this year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and with Animal Crossing, Dan, sorry to interrupt you.
Right.
It's quite interesting that with the Game Awards, a lot of people were complaining that Animal Crossing didn't win any awards because
it should have. It was such a fucking hit, and it was because of the lockdown. I believe solely that the lockdown. Yeah,
I saw so many tweets saying Animal Crossing should have won Game of the Year. It's helped me mentally throughout this year, connecting with my friends, visiting islands, and all this sort of stuff.
Exactly. Well, you're going to develop your own little routine on it. I mean, I'd be lying to you right now if to say that I'm not actually playing at this moment in time. I'm actually running around collecting will-o'-the-wisps and re-putting it back together a ghost again. So it's one of those things. It's I pick it up every day. I play it for an hour or so and just run around. And sometimes I get bored and just reconstruct things. And I mean, lots of things have happened in the last week. There's always something fresh going on, and they're putting new content in. And things may slow down for a particular day, and you won't have things to do. But when you go in the next day, things have refreshed, and things you've put in place have grown or changed. So you've got that constant connection, and it is a very laid back game. But at the same time, it gave you something to do, and if you wanted to put loads of time into it to create and sculpt your islands, you could do so. If you just wanted to do something a little bit every day, you could do so.
Yeah.
You kind of a lot of people I know, a lot of people I don't know, a lot of people I've seen online, they kind of run around and they time travel, so they kind of cheat.
Yeah.
But I've played this without any of that. I've literally done everything legit. I go in at certain times of day to do certain things, and vice versa. And it's the perfect knockdown game, and it has been the perfect game this year.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'd even go as far as to say it's the most talked about game this year.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Social media, it hasn't dropped off. People are always talking about it. Like there's like the different events and the outfits and other things that come up in it. Like ever since it sort of came out, it hasn't really been off my social media feed.
No, it's one of those things where you never quite finish it. You never quite finish it. There's always something else to do.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I mean, my missus has pumped loads of hours into it as well. It's helped her out quite a lot this year.
Well, you've even got all the other sort of stuff that you generally sort of like, because obviously there's a lot of people that are stuck at home who are extremely creative, and obviously in that game as well, you've got the option to create your own designs for T-shirts and all these other sort of bits and bobs. So I remember seeing a lot of people have recreated some of the like Final Fantasy outfits.
Yeah.
Like pretty damn well within the game, and obviously you could share your designs with other people with the codes and the other bits and bobs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man, it's all good.
All good in the hood.
Yeah, I'm sure there was another indie game I saw as well that looked kind of interesting, like a top-down shooter. You'd know the trailer because it starts off with like almost like a band playing instruments, and then a woman starts singing this pretty chill song, and then they kind of getting attacked by like weird sort of. They look almost like the Hellbugs from Defiance that we was talking about earlier on, actually. And then they sort of get done over, and then they kind of respawn, and it's sort of like as a top-down sort of twin-stick shooter kind of thing, and it looked reasonably good. I can't remember what it was called, unfortunately. I was hoping it was one of the ones you'd written down, and then I'd be like, I know that one.
Cool.
Yeah. Right. Is there anything else you wanted to mention about the Game Awards at all?
No, I think everyone's waiting for us to talk about Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think
They're like, we're an hour in, you bastards.
Yeah,
like...
Luke Newcomb's getting quite impatient in the chat by the looks of it. He's just subscribed, so you better give him his money's worth, mate.
Yeah. So okay, let's talk about it then. It seems to me with Cyberpunk, a lot of people are having vastly different experiences on the game, and I think that is depending on what platform you're playing on. And with PC, it depends on obviously what spec you're
Your
running.
internals, yeah.
Yeah. So I obviously haven't played the console version. I've seen so much on social media about it on the consoles, though, that it's been impossible to ignore. And then there's been the Digital Foundry comparisons that have obviously come out the last few days that I've watched with a little bit of giggling, because it's just like, fucking hell, this, what the hell's happened? You couldn't make it up, to be quite honest with you. So, but it's been quite interesting actually just hearing people's experiences on their different platforms. So, have you been playing it, Dan?
I have. I've got about 4 hours in.
Okay, and have you been playing it, Darren, as well?
Yep, I've put about the same amount of time in as well.
Okay, so what are you playing it on, Dan?
Xbox One X.
Xbox One X, and you're playing it on the Series X, is that right, Darren? Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, cool. So you both put about 4 hours in each.
Yeah.
I'm obviously going to talk about my experience last. Just tell me your experiences on, Dan, you first. We'll go from like worst to best, if that makes sense.
What's
So...
the best? Cheers, man. I will say I got it on, was it Thursday?
Yeah.
Obviously, I worked during the day at home, and then it literally, I kid you not, it took about 4 or 5 hours to fucking install everything. It took a long time.
Nice meaty 40-something plus gig day one update, wasn't there?
Something like that, yeah. I wasn't paying too much attention to it, although I did. Well, part of that was the reason it took so long, because I didn't notice he wanted me to put disc 2 for God knows how long. So I literally turned my head and, oh shit, and booted it up. And I mean, the character creation. I mean, I'm not a big fan of going into too much detail on this, and especially this game is a SPS or a first-person game, so you're not going to see your character that much anyway.
Yeah.
But however, I opted for kind of like I opted for the female character. I went Corpo.
Okay, so you would have got a different beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you choose Webby for your start?
Street Kid.
Same. I was hoping you was going to say like the other lot.
So it'd be interesting to touch back in with you guys after a couple of weeks to see how different these experiences are. Yeah, but the reason, but going back to the character creation as well, and I'm going to touch upon it right now because obviously a lot's been said about the customization of your character and whether or not you can have a dick or a fanny. I'm going to say it now. It's like, why?
I don't know.
Why?
I mean, I don't know. Like, it even goes into so much detail where you can choose the size of your penis, and you can choose if it's circumcised or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like,
roundhead or cavalier, son?
Richmond sausage or wall sausage? That's what it is. It's like, man, it's like
You've got to do that because there's a great glitch where your cock keeps sticking out of your pants.
I don't get it. I don't understand why.
I know whether you opted for wearing pants like I did, or underpants. I did underpants as well.
Wearing pants.
Exactly. The thing is, I mean, although I'm in a ground floor flat and no one really can look in, I don't really have any curtains in my living room, and I don't want to be in a situation where I'm playing a video game and there's a digital knob that's basically there's jiggling around on the screen. Not that I'm a prude or anything. I just didn't really think, what's the point?
Yeah, and I'm in the same mentality as you, actually, Dan. I mean, I think it's good at the character creation has a lot of options, but I think when it gets to the point of choosing that much about your genitalia, it's gone a bit too far. That's just my personal opinion.
Do you know how long I spent in the character creator?
Too long, probably.
About 5 minutes.
An hour and a half.
Wow.
I will say, do not smoke before you start the character creator, because you can't make your fucking mind up.
Oh God.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
One other thing I will say, sorry, about the character creator. I've just got to get it out there. This game in the character creator suffers from something that kind of happens with a lot of games, which gives you extensive character creators. In the fact that almost every single character you bump into in the real world looks really well fucking defined and done, and your character looks slightly off, strange, in comparison to them.
Oh, is that when you're talking about when you're looking in the mirror?
Yeah. Like when you know, when you like, because obviously one of the cool things that's kind of weird, it's not really a spoiler, but one of the trailers where they kind of show you and your mate out on the town having a good time.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cutscene that just plays through to show you the passing of time and you bonding with that character. Yeah. And there's a part in it where obviously you're looking in the mirror all like bummed out and everything, and you're like, I look nothing as good as any of these other people. Like, I look like an animated mannequin or something.
You hit yourself with a fucking ugly stick. Done.
Like, compared to obviously when you first bump into, is it T, whatever her name is? The one who gives you the hacking device?
Is it T-Bug or something like that?
T-Bug. Yeah, T-Bug.
Something like that, yeah. She looks phenomenally well done.
Yeah.
And in fact, most of the other characters do, but you always look a little bit off. I just thought I'd just say that in there, but there's a lot of games that give you character creators that kind of do that, where you look slightly uncanny valley compared to everyone else in that world and how well they're realised.
It almost makes you think whether or not it's a bit like, are they shooting themselves in the foot? You remember, was it going back to like Mass Effect? To me, this is like a similar kind of premise to that, but obviously blown up on a bigger scale in terms of choices and paths and whatnot. But the fact that Shepard was so iconic.
Yeah.
What and I can understand that it's all the rage with any kind of RPG these days that people want all this kind of customization, but surely you could have created a much more iconic situation or iconic character by having a main being the same, whether it be male or female or the choice between. To me that makes more logical sense, and I mean it's not as if your character's quiet like in a lot of these games.
Yeah, you talk a lot. Yeah.
You talk a lot. I mean, it's obviously the character of V is going to be iconic, but there's no real face to it unless you look at the front cover of your console box.
Yeah.
Can I just say as well, like, I don't know about most of you, but if my character is really well known in that place, they're just well known for dressing like a cunt. Like the kind of random stuff that I have, like you'll pick stuff up that makes you look like a fucking idiot wearing it.
But you've armoured.
But it's so good because it's like a super rare item or something, and you're like, that's so much better than what I've got, but I'm gonna have to wear these stupid pink space boots like with this like biker outfit and like maybe like basketball shorts or something on and a trilby white hat. I'm
wearing a trilby at the moment. I'm kind of regretting it because it looked like. Well, then again, I thought to myself, I look like a prick wearing it. So no. Then again, I'm not going to see myself wearing it. So fuck it. It's extra
if you click in both your thumbsticks, you go into photo mode and you can kind of do all that. Has anyone played with the photo mode at all?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I've played with it a little bit.
Have you gone through the poses?
No, I haven't. I've seen people doing the poses by putting pictures online, but
there's
I've not done
there's Joker on stairs pose.
Awesome.
Okay.
Which is kind of bizarre.
So let's just talk about the game a little bit. So what I want to say first off, just about the story is, I don't know if anyone else felt the same as me. It felt like it jumped very fast because, as you say, you touched on it, Darren. There's a cut scene which skips you ahead 1.5 years at the beginning of the game, and I didn't really like that much. It felt very like something happened at the beginning, and then all of a sudden you're 1.5 years later, and you're like slap bang into the freaking game.
No, you would have done, mate.
Yeah, you would have done. Yeah,
that's how much I've got to pay attention to fucking cutscenes.
if you're hanging around with Jackie, that's all I'll say is that you've had that scene.
Or maybe you're doing Street Kids, and I'm doing Corpo, so I haven't seen anything like that.
Oh, so that might be the difference.
Maybe.
Interesting. Yeah, it just felt like it jumped quite quick. That's just all I'm going to say about it, because I know there's a lot of people that haven't played it yet. So, yeah. Anyway, what's your experience, Dan, with the graphics? Any glitches? What does it look like?
It looks fine. I mean, I've seen the difference. I've seen everyone show up with their fucking ray tracing, and I'm like, yeah, puddles, mate. Puddles, mate, great. But it looks fine. I've seen some glitches. One of them where Jackie was following me down a ladder, and then I couldn't see him, and I turned around again. He was back at the top of the ladder, climbing down again, which was interesting. And then I think I got close to. I know Collins had some issues, and there was an issue where he got stuck behind a door because he went out in front of Jackie. So every single time I see a door now, I wait for Jackie to go in front of me. Thanks, Colin.
Yeah.
What else have I seen? I've seen a couple of NPCs talk to me, but their mouths don't move.
That's I've had that once or twice.
What else was there? There's a couple other bits as well.
Have you had the weird conversations as well, where like someone will be like, "Hey, how you doing, hon?" or something, and then you talk to like, "Fuck off." You just think that's a bit of a strange contrast. What is this, Oblivion?
I haven't seen that. I have seen a couple of what I thought was hard freezes, but the console, the game just freezes for about 4 or 5 seconds, and whilst it loads in other assets and then starts up again. That's happened a handful of times, but I haven't had any hard crashes yet. That's about it, really. And some things take a little while to load in terms of selections and choices and so forth. So there's a bit of work, I guess, to do behind the scenes, but I haven't seen anything too horrific yet.
Okay. What about you then, Darren? Just overall, just graphics and performance.
Well, when I first stuck it on, it seemed great at the start. Obviously, the thing that kind of threw me out a little bit was the fact that it's not as sharp as other games are.
Yeah.
There's kind of like a graphical style they've gone to where it's not as hard edged. Like if you play something like Assassin's Creed, you see like the full line detail and all the rest of it. And I know that the resolution is obviously scaled back on obviously the versions of the game we've got on console currently anyway. But even so, even on like the high-end PCs, I've noticed it's more detailed, but it's still not pin sharp. Like obviously a lot of them other games kind of are.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so I kind of ended up turning off a couple of the options, which were film grain and like chromatic aberration or aberration or whatever it was. And strangely enough, as soon as I watched one of the Digital Foundry things, he said in the video, I'd recommend you did this straight off because it just makes the game look a bit more clear.
Sort
of thing.
I've turned off the film grain.
Reminded me kind of if anyone's played PSVR, you know, you kind of have that kind of like look to everything in it where it's sharp but not sharp sort of a thing, if that makes any sense.
See, I think that is the difference between the consoles and the PC version, because the only time I don't think it looks sharp is driving around the city. That's when it feels a bit more softer, but when I'm walking around, it looks very sharp to me anyway.
I mean, these are all things. I mean, I'm obviously on the Series X, so the frame rate's pretty smooth. I haven't really run into any huge dips that I've really noticed too much. It runs pretty well. It's just that graphics thing, and to be honest, from what they said on the Digital Foundry thing, this is just both obviously the PS5 and the Series X.
Well, I think
doing their versions of the old version of the game for the other systems.
Yes, 100%.
I'm quite interested to see what they do when they actually, because I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it retains the 60 FPS. They add the ray tracing and they slightly up the resolution.
I think that's going to be tough for them to do, mate. I seriously, I mean, just a little bit of news to chuck in here. On the PlayStation 4, it's running between 720p and 900p. That's
that is
yeah.
but they've said on that they haven't even tapped into the true power of these consoles.
So this is just but I just want to give you a little bit of difference, right? So I'm playing it obviously on PC. I've got an RTX 3080. You know, this is meant to be obviously it's one down from the 3090. I'm running everything maxed out with the ray tracing on Psycho.
You think you've got way more options on PC though when it comes to sort of graphics settings
of
than you'll have
course,
on the console.
but I've whacked everything to the maximum, absolutely everything, and I mean it's pretty smooth. I mean when I'm walking around within tighter areas, it goes up to about 90 FPS between 70 and 90. But bearing in mind I'm only running it at 1440p. But then when I'm driving, it's running at like 40. It's running at 40 FPS a lot of the time when I'm driving around, because that's where the performance hits on every system, is when you're
It's
driving
because
around.
you're driving round at speed and it's having to process all those areas, all those
Yeah,
NPCs, all that lighting, reflections, everything as you're going through, sort of a
yeah,
thing. Unless it was all preloaded in there way before.
yeah, yeah,
But there has been a recent update to I think Spider-Man Miles Morales now on PS5, so you can play it with ray tracing and stuff
yeah,
with at
yeah,
60 FPS and things.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah,
apparently the current gen version that I have on obviously the Series X that's running it kind of is just over 1080. It's
yeah,
not even really like anywhere near like a proper sort of what you'd
yeah,
class as 4K, which is 1440 and up, really.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's. I mean, like Hogarth's got a 3090. He's just put in the Twitch chat that his card, it's a £1,200 plus. I think it's like £1,400. Sorry, graphics card, and he struggles to run it at 4K with the ray tracing on.
I
So
think there's still
it's
optimization
a
to come
lot
on the
of
PC as well,
optimization to
mind.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but I consider myself quite lucky in regards that I managed to get the new 3000 series, one of the new 3000 series cards, because myself and Hogarth are actually able to play it the way it's meant to be played. And when I've seen the complaints from people that are playing it on the console about the crashes and the glitches and stuff, I do feel a little bit sorry for those people, because it's come out on those platforms. It was advertised on those platforms.
Yeah.
It should have released in a better state than what it has on those consoles, to be quite honest with you. Because the only way I'm able to run it looking very, very nice, it's pretty much brute forcing it, really, with a high spec system.
I do put some of it down to COVID. Like it
Yeah.
is just shits that all of the lockdown and all of the disruption happened in this year, basically, when the game was coming out, which obviously led to the constant pushbacks.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, what they could have done, Darren, I know this would have pissed a lot of people off, but what they could have done is released it on PC and then said, look, the console versions aren't ready yet.
That's what I was going to say, but it would have fucked people off big time.
Yeah, it would have done. But the thing is, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of stuff online and stuff. CG Project Red have a very good relationship with their fans and consumers, but what I've been reading a lot online is what people forget, and I completely forgot, was that
Witcher 3.
when the Witcher 3 released, thank you, Dan, is that was very buggy and glitchy when it launched, and it took them a good few months to put some good patches out to have that running at a decent level.
Also, is this the very first time CD Projekt Red have put a game out on console and PC at the same time? Because I believe all of their previous games hit PC first and then come to console later.
Did that happen with The Witcher 3 then? Because I can't remember.
I think Witcher 3, I'm sure Witcher 3 came out on console after PC.
I can't remember either.
I don't know. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people mention that The Witcher 3 had a lot of issues, but I don't think it was to this
Clarky's just jumped in on the chat. PC first.
Oh, okay.
Later, my roach used to do push-ups and stuff. Like, I'll just go over and see him like bumping up and down.
Yep. So I sort of
and other
think that
random stuff.
they should have done that with this game. But I think that the hype has been so strong with this, and obviously with everyone on lockdown and that, everyone's been itching to play this, and it's already been delayed since what, March. So I think their hand was kind of forced, really, that they just had to get it out. Um, but I've seen some people on console saying that they're really enjoying it still, no matter the bugs. And I'm personally really enjoying it. Just want to chime in and say, it looks gorgeous. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they implement the ray tracing and the better graphics on the next gen consoles, because on the PC it looks stunning. And I know I do talk about ray tracing quite a lot. I'm sorry,
You do.
it's
I
the
wonder
new
what, wonder
tech.
why that is.
It's actually really good. And
This game is a demo showcase for that tech, though. To be fair,
I mean, on this it's really nice, especially at night time, and because it's been raining and you see the reflection of the neons and your lights in the puddles on the floor, and even during the day, it actually, what it does, and the reason it's so taxing is because it's simulating light bouncing off surfaces and around. So when you put the ray tracing on psycho mode on the PC version, it simulates the light coming from the sun onto the city and realistically bouncing that light around. And one of the interesting things I saw was on the Digital Foundry video that they did, was the sunlight was hitting a wall, and the wall was purple, so it was reflecting very faint purple light back off the wall onto this other wall. It just looked really, really good. And I mean, I love technology, I always have done, so I find all this sort of stuff very fascinating. And I consider myself very lucky to be in a very lucky position that I can experience that, to be quite honest with you.
The main thing I've noticed with the picture myself, bar the resolution, to be honest, is, from what I've heard, the HDR doesn't work properly on the console versions yet.
Oh, okay.
And it kind of so the real blacks and shadows and all the depth that you'd normally get with that kind of feature is kind of missing.
Oh, okay.
But even so, it still looks phenomenal at times.
Yeah.
Like when you'll get those moments when you're in a darkened room and you're having a one-on-one conversation with a character, which are done exceedingly well, and you get in like the lens flares off the lighting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, this game is immense. Like for obviously what it is. Like getting that running on like a base Xbox One and a PS4 and stuff is a pretty monumental achievement when you think about what goes into that game. I was sat there the other night and I was like just mucking around, and then I'm like, hold on, I can do this. And then they'll go into another menu, and it's like, oh, so this then unlocks this, and hang on, what's in that menu? And I was just like, I was starting to get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff you can actually do.
Yeah. And the one thing I did want to mention, and that, I mean, people seem to think, oh, there's been some really big games come out on consoles before, like the Assassin's Creed games and Horizon Zero Dawn, and they've got these big maps. But what people forget is, this is a very condensed city. There's a lot of verticality to it, and there's a lot going on. You've got all the AI citizens walking around doing their own thing. You've got all the traffic, and it's just everything happening all around you. That's just consuming. There's a lot of computations going on there. It's a very difficult thing to program in the first place. So the fact that they've managed to get this running on older systems is just a miracle in itself. And because I'm playing it and I'm walking around, I'm just thinking, bloody hell! It's just like like in Hitman, it's in that small area and you're walking and it's very busy, and that takes a performance hit. You times that by a giant bloody area of a city, and it's that same amount of stuff going on. And I know on the PC version, you can actually, to give yourself some more performance, you can turn the amount of people, the crowd numbers down and up. And what was quite interesting is the PlayStation version has less crowd than the Xbox version.
But yet the PlayStation version holds 60 FPS more consistently than the Xbox version.
But then,
so it's possibly to do with that. But then
it's
again,
give and take.
both still just running the old version of the game on a thingy. And what they actually do to jump from the older versions to what's on that, it's almost like night and day in just that. And this is before, obviously, the upgrade that's going to take it more in line with like a mid-tier PC to a degree. And for immersion, like, this is probably one of the most immersive games I've played in years.
Yeah.
Like, for how, because obviously the way the city's created and everything, and the way it all played out, everything's kind of claustrophobic.
Yes.
But it's populated claustrophobic with so much detail and other little things and nuances and characters, and people, when they have conversations to you, they look you in the eye, they'll walk around, they'll have a cigarette, they'll act like exactly like real people.
So this is the thing, like, because I was thinking this earlier, because I played it a little bit today, and I was driving around in my car, and I was in the middle of this, in a very busy area of the city, and I was stuck in shitloads of traffic, and I was sitting there thinking, I don't think I've actually played another game. You know, you think of Grand Theft Auto is one of the main comparisons you make. I was thinking to myself, I've not played an open world game in a city with this much traffic, you know, on the road, this many people walking around on the sidewalks next to me. There's just so much going on, and it looks fantastic. It really does. It just feels like you're there, and you're right. It is very, very immersive. And
I mean, you get phone calls and text messages, and you reply to people's text messages, and then they text you back again, and it just all adds to like the experience and everything. Early on, you do kind of find yourself slightly overwhelmed, where you'll sort of, as a street kid, you'll sort of first time you leave your apartment after you've sort of got control of your character properly. Like, you're literally getting text messages and calls and people calling out to you on the streets with like side quests and missions and stuff, and you're just thinking, oh fucking hell, I just want to get to the Ripper Dock or whatever it is. And I've got all this stuff to do. And originally I was going around picking up all kinds of tut and then trying to sell it, before I could realise what you want to be doing is picking up all of the junk and breaking it down for components that you can then use to upgrade all of your equipment. That's your guns, that's your, like, so that trilby you've got, Dan, you could probably break down a load of shit and upgrade your trilby so it gives you more armor. And and you get XP as well doing that in like engineering and stuff. So like your different categories rank up, and then you can earn perks that you can spend them in any category, but you can get other perks. Like, there was one earlier I got, which was basically gives you more components when you break down other items. There's another one in that tree that lets you craft rare schematics and rare stuff. There's just so much to the game. It's literally an onion. It is an onion of the game.
Peeling the layers, you know.
One of the comments who said someone's asked about the gunplay. Gunplay of the game.
I think it's going to be different answers for different people.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? I mean, it seems to me it's very much like a shootout rather than a traditional SPS where you aim on a barrel of a gun. And
it feels it feels like an RPG shooter.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like an FPS. Like, it generally doesn't play like a sort of like an FPS does, but it fully satisfies me.
Luke Nukem.
Luke Nukem. Yeah. Sorry, Luke. I mean, I did. What the main one? You're trying to escape from that warehouse. I mean, it was a bit hit and miss in terms of gunplay for me, and obviously I tried a bit of the stealth, and I kind of fucked that up.
You still get 100 stealth XP for hiding bodies in dumpsters. So even if you don't stealth people down, hide the body and you'll get some XP.
Oh, that's good to know, mate. That's good to know.
Good to know. I just said it's all hit and miss. I mean, I'm sure it will come a little bit more naturally, and you know, you kind of develop it. It seems like the kind of game where you end up specialising in certain, guns.
I mean, I really like the ninja sword. I think that's awesome.
I haven't used that yet. Is that the one you got in your stash?
Yes.
For linking your account?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can.
Because it didn't say it had damage on it. It didn't have damage numbers or anything on it like my other weapons.
It's the highest damage item I've got.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it does loads of damage. But just going back to the gunplay question, I think it depends because I'm playing it with a keyboard and mouse. So obviously it's going to feel a lot different. It does. I mean, it doesn't feel like like a Call of Duty shoot or whatever. More akin, I would say, like kind of Fallout, but better. If that makes sense.
Like Fallout 4.
Yeah,
when they kind of teamed up with ID.
Yeah, but I find it more. Software. I find it more smooth and a lot better, but it feels a little bit like that. If that makes sense.
A little bit. I've got a little bit of Borderlands, I suppose, as well, to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree. It's the numbers game.
The numbers, and I mean, I've been playing a bit of Borderlands 3 recently, and I mean, I'm gagging for a kind of like a gun I can use with a scope on this game, so I can start sniping people from afar.
Oh yeah, you just loot bodies, mate. Some of them have like scopes and silencers and stuff, which you can attach to your guns. I will say, attachments for your weapons, you can switch them in and out as much as you want. Gear mods, once they're slotted, if you unslot it, it gets destroyed.
That means nothing
to
me.
So be careful with your gear mods.
Tell me again in a couple of weeks, and I'll go, oh, really? At the moment, mate, you might as well be talking French.
So one thing, as I say, one thing I am enjoying, I don't know about you guys, is I got to the point where it shows. It took me about 5 or 6 hours to get to a point where it showed the intro screen for the game.
I haven't got that anywhere near that yet, mate.
Oh, okay. So I'm not going to spoil it, but so I've hit that, and I've not done any more actual main missions. I've literally just been going around the map doing side missions, because you get the side missions in your journal. But if you can't do them, or you don't want to do them, if you look at the map, there's loads of yellow exclamation marks dotted all over the map. Yeah. So I've just been going and doing them, and some of them have ended up being really good missions, actually, really, really good. Like their own little mini stories, to be honest. But obviously, I'm not going to spoil any because you haven't gotten that far. But some have really been fantastic. They really have.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, as I said,
so are you guys going more combat-y then, and like, or are you using quite a bit of the sort of tech hacks and all that kind of stuff as well?
I'm kind of doing everything, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm seeing what fits.
Yeah.
At the moment, as I'm trying a bit of everything just to see. I mean, the tech, the hacking, I haven't quite got the grips of it yet.
Yeah, that is a bit confusing.
Maybe. I mean, I've tried a little bit of that, but most of it is like, oh shit, get the guns out, here we go.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
But it depends, because like on some missions, if you find a computer and you hack into it, you can take over turrets within, like, say, a factory area that you meant to infiltrate, and just shoot everyone.
Disable all the cameras.
Well, you can disable the cameras, shoot everyone with the turrets that you take over, so you don't even have to get near them. You can sneak around. There's a good few options that you can do. If you want to be stealthy, you can like distract guards by flicking monitors and TVs and stuff. So there's a lot of options there, but a lot of the time, I'll just be like, I can't be fucked with this. I'm just going to shoot the bitches in the face. But
I will say another thing that I will give them props for as well, which obviously also adds to the experience, the sound.
Yes, it is well done.
Like the way the city sounds, the way you walk down the streets, you can hear people sort of talking slightly in the distance. You might walk past somewhere and all of a sudden a big ad starts playing out of the side of a shop or something, or you walk past the television as the news comes on and everything, and it all sounds really well done.
Yes.
How you'd expect it to be.
Yeah, those adverts in the lifts are bloody. Oh, they're in your face, aren't they? As well.
That's the idea, mate.
Yeah. And the radio stations when you're in your vehicle, I think, are pretty decent as well. Some really good tunes.
I haven't really listened to that. I mean, I haven't seen the listing of the various artists, but I know Run the Jewels are involved, who I'm a big fan of.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to have a look. I'll report back on that.
If you're actually playing the game on Twitch, there is an option that you can select to turn off all the copyrighted music. So you don't get hit. Which is pretty cool for a dev to do that.
Of course, definitely. I mean, that's pretty good.
That is
Yeah,
cool.
I'll have a look at that. I mean, it depends how much is in there, I guess, and how many radio stations you got. Because one of the things I remember playing to obviously Grand Theft Auto 5 to death was just the if you listen to the radio stations too much, they become very, very overtly familiar.
Yes,
But
yes.
again, it's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
It kind of breaks the fourth wall a little bit and becomes a little bit monotonous. But we'll see. You know, as I said, I'm expecting a lot of things, and how much they managed to cram in terms of content on those radio stations remains to be seen.
Yeah, the other thing I will say that I thought was kind of cool is I noticed at one point early on in the game, obviously where I was saying I was getting bombarded with like a load of the side mission stuff. I went obviously and met someone, went off for a drive, talking to them, and basically after the conversation's finished, you get dropped off. He drops you off right near where a load of those side missions actually are.
Nice.
So it's like he kind of dumps you right in the area. So you straight away you look on your map and you're like, there's that there. Although I will say at one point, I was running around this base of this building for about 15 to 20 minutes trying to figure out how the hell I got up onto the roof where the people were I needed to interact with. And even then, I can't particularly still remember how I managed to get up there. I think I managed to sort of jump and parkour up a little bit because you can jump up, grab on the ledges and pull yourself up and stuff.
Yeah.
Hogarth's just chipped in and said there's 11 radio stations.
That's good.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, hopefully there's a Jazz FM.
Or Talk Radio and stuff.
Or Talk Radio, LBC, like a Robo Farage spouting by.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't played loads of it, so it's kind of limited on what I can talk about. And obviously, you don't want to be doing spoilers.
Of course, I mean, I think, as I said, I think there's two threads to this whole kind of launch. I've noticed in the sense that I think we've done a good job of singing the praises of early impressions. But one thing that seems to have overtaken the narrative somewhat is obviously the issues that the older console cycles have had.
But then you got Colin who's playing it on I mean, Colin's playing it on a launch day Xbox One, isn't he? And he's had a lot of issues, but he's loving it. He's still loving it, but he's had a lot of problems. And I think some of the problems with the older consoles is the game isn't on an SSD. And they've said like for the PC version you need to have it on an SSD. So I'd imagine that would be.
Yeah, for that must be a reason why you're getting a lot of these like models with like really noticeable pop-in of textures and stuff,
or even like 5-second freezes as the next section of the game. I mean, one of the early missions is when you're driving off and you're having Jackie drive, and then the van pulls in front of you, and then the doors kick back, and you got to shoot the guys in the van. I literally just as I shot the driver on that. Okay, it paused for 5 seconds before it decided to do the calculation and drive straight to the building to blow up.
Bloody
and I'm like,
hell.
See, that can actually end differently. I've stopped the van before and I've had it blow up, and because obviously I've done it twice. I started the game and then wasn't too happy with my character because they had no chin. You know, when like it looks fine, but then in the cutscenes, I was like, my character looks like they've lost their chin, like by I don't know, grazing it along the street or something. And I was like,
the game.
Yeah, so I started again. That's why I spent another hour and a half in the character creator just to make sure that I didn't fuck up. I know there's probably got to be somewhere in the game where you can change your appearance because it's Cyberpunk. It would be silly not to be able to do that. But I just thought, fuck it, I'll just start again and tweak some settings and I was just like looked and I was like, no, I just look like a weirdo. Like I can't have that.
Just like real life.
Just going back to what I was saying about the two threads here. Obviously, we talked about the older cycle, and the other one is the opposite end, where all I've heard is people going on about how to run it and what it looks like and the maximum specs and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you talking about the game? You know, and it seems to be this is the whole kind of the issue.
I know what you mean. The performance is overriding the conversation about the actual game itself.
But I think one of the reasons for that, I'm not giving excuses for that side of the conversation, but this is one of those games where there's such a disparity between the PC version and the console versions that the difference is such a massive difference. We haven't seen a game with that big of a difference in a long time. And I think
it is a literal console leap. It'd be like someone playing a game on the standard Xbox, and then someone's playing that same version on the 360 in HD.
Yeah, it's essentially like a next generation game, basically playing on old tech.
Yeah,
and I think what says it to me really is when you've got a big story like PlayStation doing the refunds and all the digital copies already because of the performance issues, and it just, again, I mean, the rumor is that Red CG,
CD Projekt Red.
That's them, yeah.
Yeah.
They've already made the budget of the game up just on digital PC pre-orders alone.
Over 8 million pre-orders.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
You know, they've made the costs back, and they already know, you know, once they've already got a team working on an element of DLC already. You know, that's got to happen. But again, a lot of the guys, I guess, are doing hot fixes right now, and then I suppose in the new year when. Well, will these guys get a rest? That's the thing, though. The game's out.
Yeah. They've just got to do a lot of bug fixing.
You know now why it was pushed back.
Yeah, 100%.
Like for it to even come out like with these issues, and yeah, looking at the texture thing, it definitely does seem to be like hard drive related. Not running off an SSD and stuff. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Maybe has anyone? Obviously, I haven't heard of anyone trying it like with an external SSD. Like on the older systems, whether running it off those improves performance a little bit.
Don't know, man.
So, and I think one of the other reasons that people are upset about the console version is, even if people want to play it on a Series X or a PS5, they can't fucking find the consoles to buy.
Yep.
You know, so that's another problem. But you nicked a bit of my news section there, Dan, about the refunds. So Sony are just dishing out refunds for the PlayStation digital version.
I thought you did the news at the beginning of the show.
I normally do, but I didn't this week. It's okay.
Not this week.
I'll forgive you.
We'll talk about it now, man.
So they're doing a lot of so they're doing refunds even for people who've played it for more than 2 hours. Apparently, Sony have actually put in a complaint against CD Projekt Red for pushing out a game that's such a hot mess on the PlayStation. Apparently, that's what
they'd have probably got into more shit if they'd have just cancelled that version outright.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if they hadn't pushed out those current gen versions, I wouldn't be playing it. Dan wouldn't be playing it. PS5 owners or Pro owners wouldn't be playing it because obviously we're just running those versions.
So anyway,
it says a lot, doesn't it? I mean, I wouldn't hope for a playable PS4 version anytime soon. This is the sad thing about it. I guess
a shame.
It is a weird thing. Like I get what some people say. There are games that you can play on base PS4 that look phenomenal. Like obviously like Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, or all those kind of things, Final Fantasy Remake and stuff. So it is obviously confusing for people when they release a game like this and it kind of performs like it does when so many other games don't. But when you obviously realise what's involved, what it is, you kind of see how they're running into these technical limitations.
Yeah.
Like NPC density in games has always been an issue.
Yes. Definitely.
When it comes to taxing your hardware. That's why, like, on various games, even Black Desert, when they were trying to sort out the congestion and issues that people were having with the game over lockdown, because they were finding out, like, their servers were, like, twice as full because people were off all day and logging in. They scaled back a lot of enemy mobs in zones and took away NPCs and stuff in the game to improve the game's performance, so it wouldn't affect people as much. That's why if you want obviously like high density crowds along with all the other bits and bobs, that's why you need a system with lots and lots of things you can tinker and mess about with, like depth of field and all that kind of stuff, shadows, ray tracing, etc.
Ray tracing.
But put that in with the different paths with the story and like the size of the city and all that kind of stuff. It is a big clusterfuck.
Yeah.
To be honest, I would have a headache trying to sort that out myself. To be honest, and obviously these are games as well where you're like, yeah, I've fixed it, I've done it, and then you turn around and realise you've broken half the fucking game in another area.
Yeah. Man, it's just been a weird launch. I think, it's the most hyped game in a long time, and I just think I mean, I just find it a little bit disappointing that not everyone is enjoying it at the same kind of level. It is really sad to see when people are putting on social media, oh, I'm really not having a good time with this game. Look at all the glitches I'm running into. It's crashing my system, etc. I mean, I personally don't think that's good enough. You're launching a AAA game. It's launched on. It's for the Xbox One. It's for the PS4. If it's released on those systems, it should fucking work on those systems. And I've seen a lot of people putting online, well, what do you expect for a brand new game to be running on 7-year-old hardware? Well, my answer to that is it's released on that hardware. It should fucking work on that hardware.
Exactly.
It's no excuse.
And it was announced in what, 2012?
Yeah, 2013,
like
I think.
Years ago.
Or something
8 years ago,
yeah.
So it was announced technically before the Xbox One and the PS4 even came out.
That's it. So.
But then you've got to think as well, how much more ambitious did the game get? How much further did they try and push things by the time the game comes out? Because obviously they're a PC developer. They've all got with PC hardware. The consoles for them come secondary.
Yeah.
They mainly work with the PCs, and PCs have always got to work with constantly evolving technologies.
Yeah.
So you're always going to be wanting to push as much as you possibly can out, and then try and pull that back down to obviously be in a playable state on other systems. But
I mean, it says a lot to me.
Well, for the consoles, there's 4 different versions of that game on Xbox One. And there's 3 different versions of that game for the PlayStation.
Yeah, that's a lot to work with, to be honest, for any developer. But it says a lot to me, Darren. So I was just going to say is, the latest graphics cards only released a few months ago, and you kind of need that, this gen's graphics cards to get it to run, maxed out with the ray tracing. I've got like Turner and Wes in the community. We've got 2080 Ti's, which were the top end of last generation, and they're running it pretty okay.
Yeah, I've heard they are reasonably good, the 2080s and stuff.
Yeah, but it's not, you kind of need that or higher, which, and you look at most PC gamers are not running high spec machines. I mean, most PC gamers are kind of mid range because of the cost involved. So it's quite interesting to see, because you've got Sly, who's got a 1080, and he was moaning a bit about how he's having to run the game. He's having to run it at 1080p to get it to run on high settings. First world problems. So,
I'm about to say,
that
sounds great.
Yeah, but he's running it pretty decent at that resolution. So he's quite happy, but. Yeah, I mean, it's just it is a next gen game, and it's been in production for that long. And as I said earlier, I just feel very lucky. I mean, I'm loving it. I mean, it looks stunning, so immersive. I mean, I don't know if I told you guys, I picked up a new monitor a couple of weeks ago.
How does Leanne think about that?
She wasn't happy, but
I thought you were about to say she doesn't know yet.
I think she would.
I think it's fucking obvious.
Yeah, so I went from.
I don't know if it's the same, mate.
No, it's massive, mate, compared to mine. So I went from a 24 to a 32 inch. So 32 inch.
Like, no, it's the same one. Like freaked her out.
32 inch curve just right in front of my face, and I'm so glad I got it, because like this game, I'm just immersed into it. It's amazing. Yeah, so I'm loving it. Think it's great. I still hasn't topped Assassin's Creed Valhalla for me yet, though, to be quite honest with you. But
I haven't played it enough yet, have you?
It's getting there. I haven't played it enough, so give it time.
It's definitely in my mind. Like when I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about it.
Yes, and I'm the same. But then I was the same with Assassin's Creed. So yeah. Cool. I think what we're going to do, because the podcast has been going on for over 2 hours, I think, are you guys on next week?
Well,
I should be about.
Because I'm thinking because
put a bet on it, mate. I probably will be.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking because of the length of the show. I think if we go into what we've been playing, we'll be going on for another bloody hour or so. So I might save. If you want to, can we save that to next week? Is that cool with you guys?
Yeah. All you can do is like a few newsy bits that I was going to mention, or one.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just thinking because I want to talk about Assassin's Creed for quite a while because I completed it this week, but I'll save that for next week. That's cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Which other news bit, Darren?
And I was just going to say I watched the Black Desert like Calpheon Ball. They do like a digital event thing. Like I think it's once or twice a year. Just talking about like updates for the game and stuff like that.
Big updates,
well, just basically talking about their roadmap for the next 6 months to a year of like the content they're going to be bringing out. Because obviously MMOs, you kind of have a lot of people that drop off, so you have to keep sort of like dangling carrots, waving things in front of people's faces to sort of keep them involved.
Yeah, that makes sense.
As it were. So there's like new regions and stuff coming to like PC and stuff, and some other sort of like modes that they're going to be adding.
Yeah.
They also talked about obviously the next gen versions of the game. They're not technically enhanced for those systems yet. They're just doing what Cyberpunk does, which is running the old versions better on newer hardware.
Yeah.
Basically, but someone said, are you going to be working more into sorting out the next gen? And they went, we will do eventually, but first we're going to be concentrating on maximizing the experience for PS4 and standard Xbox One users, which is kind of nice to hear.
Yeah, that is good.
Because at the end of the day, a lot more people have those systems as well.
Yeah.
So it would make sense to please your bigger player base.
100%.
They also showed off a little trailer for a brand new class called Nova, I think it is.
Okay.
Which is actually coming out in just over 2 weeks.
Nice. That's good.
I think it
so you're going to be playing that?
Which is kind of cool. Yeah, you don't usually get that. Where it's like you'll announce a class and then like you can pre-create it next week and then 2 weeks later you'll be able to play as it. So that was kind of cool.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll obviously get to the Final Fantasy patch news later because that came out this Tuesday.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to be a while before I resub to that, I think.
Yeah, I think
too many games
you'll
to
generally be all right. There's only, I think, 3 things, which is like MSQ, the new raid, but it's not the 24-man. It's the other raids.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's Emerald Weapon, a trial against the Emerald Weapon.
Okay.
Like the main things in this one, I believe, and some other tweaks and bits here and there.
Yeah.
I'll obviously talk about them.
Yeah.
Next week, I'm sure everyone will be really gripped to their seats for that.
I'm tuning in already, mate.
Yeah.
I'm warming my seat as I speak.
Cool.
Get some biscuits in.
Is there anything else you want to mention on Cyberpunk before I go to questions?
No, man.
Yeah, like you say, it's just a shame everyone else isn't having the same enjoyable experience that most of us seem to be having with it.
Yes, it is. It's frustrating
because it should be a game people are talking about and celebrating. To be honest, rather
100%.
than complaining about.
Yeah, I completely agree. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, okay, I do have a question. I remembered this. There was a question from Ben Hammett 2 weeks ago, and I said I would answer it. It says, my son really wants a gaming PC, not for major games. He's 10. I've no idea when it comes to PCs. Games like Bugsnax, Minecraft, Unlucky Spaceman. I've never heard of that one either. Is there a cheap option for 500 quid? That's
it's called an Xbox Series S or X or whatever, isn't it? I suppose, or a PS5 maybe. I don't know, but for I don't know. Would they be more durable for children as well? Consoles.
This is the thing
but then you lose out on all the indie stuff. But if it was an Xbox, you've got Game Pass. I suppose PC's got Game Pass as well.
If you go on what Stunty's daughter plays all the time, and it's Roblox and bloody Minecraft, and Apex Legends, and if those are the games he's playing the most on console, you should be able to pick up something relatively low spec and cheap enough.
It's hard to say because obviously I build to like high end, so it's really hard to say. I think because if you included a monitor and peripherals in that as well, you're not going to be able to get a lot really. You're thinking a graphics card. You could probably get a decent graphics card, like low end or whatever, for a couple of hundred. And then you've got to think of the motherboard.
How much was your old one going for?
Oh, my one I sold for 400 quid.
Oh wow! Yeah, still expensive.
Yeah, so
there's always skips.
So you're probably looking at a 10 series card, maybe like a 1060 or a 1070. Lucky you've probably picked one up for a couple of hundred. Maybe an i5, an older Gen i5 and a motherboard you might be able to pick up off eBay as a bundle. And then you've got to think of a case, a cooler.
I'm sure there are articles on how to build a reasonable PC for that.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff online.
Some are obviously, I've heard some of them are a bit like, what you want about, mate?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. So I generally go to like definitely someone that deals with like PC tech more than just your sort of average Joe from a
don't
publication
ask us.
or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you go to like PCGamer.com. They do budget building guides for PCs, and they give you everything to get. I'm just looking at one now, and it actually looks quite reasonable. Got the graphics card for 220. Got yeah. I'll give you this link, man. This link's quite good actually. Quite good. Yeah, I'll give you this link. I'll put it. I don't know if he's
There's
actually
obviously quite a few. There's quite a few guys on YouTube as well that specialise in PC gaming have probably answered those questions or something similar to those before as well. I'd imagine.
True. Yeah.
But obviously check when they were made, because you might be watching one from like 3 years ago or something. 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, so you can do it, but it's just knowing what you want it for. So I'm just adding up all these prices because I'm crap at maths.
If it's for a young un, I'd imagine it's for like personal use for other things as well.
Yeah.
Not just for gaming, so
homework.
So this one is actually quite close. 580 quid. That I've just found like a budget build on PCGamer.com. All I did was Google budget build PC, and it was the first link actually on PCGamer.com, and there's another one on TechRadar. There's loads of places, mate. I mean, don't listen to me because I don't know what the fuck I'm on about. So just look on these websites.
Just buy the shinies. This is great. Oh, I'll have that then.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you can actually look at this. You can actually make some pretty decent budget builds, to be honest. But then, obviously, these builds are not including your monitor and your keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, but there's stuff like that you can pick up quite cheap if you just shop about, or you can sometimes get stuff secondhand on eBay. You just need to grab it when you can.
Yeah, 100%.
It's
like Black Friday deals and stuff. And we've just obviously got your New Year's deals and all that sort of stuff as well. So
good luck, man.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay. Questions on Twitter. I'll do Twitter first. Tugan says hello.
Hello, Tugan.
I think he's just come back to us.
Tugan. Bloody hell, man.
Tuga.
Yeah, so he's come back and said hello to it. He says, hey man, any of the OG cast still around? We're all around, so we're all good.
Sort of, yeah. Still alive, just about.
There were some people. I'm looking at the different. I just wanted to say a little bit of news actually that people that I shared on Twitter that people are really happy about. on Game Pass, you can now play through the whole Yakuza series from 0 to 6.
If I only had the time.
Mate, I think, I mean, I love those games. It's one of my favourite franchises. So the fact that you can play all those games as part of your Game Pass subscription, I think is absolutely phenomenal. What
They're
a
not
bargain.
dumping them all at once, though, are they? I think they are staggering them out. I think the last one's in March.
Yeah, but that's...
I think some are out and then one's out. Is Song of Life out in March 6th?
I think so, but I think that's amazing. You know, it's such good value. And Dragon Quest, I know I keep on banging on about it, but Dragon Quest 11 is on there. Fucking awesome.
And I need to start picking it up again on the Switch.
You do.
I can vouch that Dragon Quest 11 is the bee's knees. So get on it.
There we go. I'm sure there was... Oh, here we go. Dave Chisnell. Hi guys, what's your biggest highs and lows with games this year? My high is Jedi Fallen Order, as I kept putting it off. My word, what a game. My low has to be Call of Duty, World at War. Just find it bleak and forgettable. Love the pod, gets me through work. Cheers.
Highs and lows. Oof, dearie me. It depends.
My lows are usually... Sorry, go on.
You go, man.
No, I was about to say my lows are usually related to like patches and all that kind of nonsense, downloads and installs and shit. The occasional UI complaint. But most of the games I've got generally all right, and we've had some good games this year.
We have had good games this year.
The top fives this year should be like most people's top fives. It should all be like, yeah, it's mint. And obviously, you've like going to have a lot of people with another game that a lot of people wanted to win Game of the Year, which was Hades.
Oh yes. Hades is a great game. I think I'm the only one here who has played that.
It's a ton, mate.
Stunty played it, didn't he?
I don't know.
Started it.
I don't know. We haven't talked about it, so I have to wait and see. He might have to.
I see on my feed a lot of people talking about it.
I mean, so that this year for me, I suppose. I mean, I think the whole lockdown situation, I mean, was like a how do I get through this bullshit? It was 4 months of just, you know, and obviously I mentioned Animal Crossing. I won't talk about it anymore, but I literally put an awful lot of time into Diablo 3. First time I ever played that.
Yeah.
And I got quite into it. I put several, I'm not sure how many hours in total, probably about 40, 50 hours into it. I mean, that's a lot for me for some games. I mean, just sitting there for about 4 hours or so at a time, just playing it on the telly with the Pro controller.
It's fun gameplay, man. Diablo 3.
And I just switched off. I mean, another thing as well, getting into the kind of the Dynasty Warrior-esque games with... obviously the Zelda, Age of Calamity,
Hyrule Warriors,
Hyrule Warriors, and all that. And there's that, I guess, and also just playing an awful lot of Picross. That's about it, really. And there's probably some other stuff. I mean, I still need to put together my top 5 properly.
Yeah.
But again, I suppose the low for me was all the bullshit and hot takes. Sorry, Webby, for Last of Us 2. That's still rumbling through the industry, and honestly, the whole thing got fucking ugly, really ugly, quite quickly. And I think to a degree with Cyberpunk, people are taking a step back from that. Obviously, we haven't really mentioned any of the controversies other people have been reporting in terms of reviewing the game.
Yeah, I've left that out. I've left that out
because I don't think it's worth the time of day.
No, I'm not going to talk about that. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I don't think it's. As I said, there's a whole host of when your conversations moved on to that. I think you've kind of lost a lot of the audience who don't really care. Which is probably a really blunt and honest way of saying it.
I know what you're saying, because I mean, personally, I think I'm not going to say the outlet, but I think a professional, in inverted commas, reviewing is it's dying. It really is. I think it's dying out.
It will still be there.
It will still be there, but I don't think people really listen to it as much anymore. I mean, you'll find like more youngsters will listen to like their favourite YouTuber or Twitch streamer.
That's what it's influencers now. That's what it's become. It's become the cult personality. And I mean, the whole kind of concept of reviewing games versus or like reviewing films and so forth, and I suppose with a film to a degree that it's quite obvious.
You're scratching, mate. You're scratching on your face.
Yeah. What's what happens when you don't shave for a few days on end? I've lost my train of thought now, mate.
Sorry, mate. That's really scratching.
Yeah, so even with a film, you get quite word quite quickly. It's something's a complete hot mess, and and I suppose you do with a game as well. But it's when you start trying to unpeel as Darren said earlier, like a game, like an onion, in terms of plot and social commentary. You kind of like, no, mate. It's a video game. It's there are messages in there, I suppose, to a degree, but to base your whole interpretation, to relate to you and you alone, I think you're missing the point.
Yeah, I mean, there were 2 outlets, weren't there? And one of them, I don't give them my clicks. You can probably guess that.
I don't mind one of the sites. I don't mind.
But
it's a good take.
But they put the first 5 paragraphs about their personal.
Oh yeah, that was bullshit. That was bullshit. That was bullshit. It was. And it was like I was reading through it, and I was like, oh, "Come on, man! Are you just doing this? I don't know." But at the same time,
also by doing it, people are going to talk about it, and it's going to draw more people to the site. It's kind of a weird.
It's weird. It is, but at the same time, I strongly disagree with targeted harassment on individual people because you don't agree with them.
100% agree with you there, Dan.
Completely disagree with that. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
And when you start like cherry picking attacks, I know we said we weren't talking about it. Strangely enough, we've fallen into that conversation.
Yeah, but we're not mentioning the names. We're not going to mention the names of the outlets.
We're doing a little bit of a waltz.
Yeah.
It's an odd thing, and it's kind of if you are buying into that whole kind of concept of us versus them, the 2-tiered kind of engaging cultural wars and politics, and you're playing into a bigger mindscape that is designed to keep people apart. Don't do it. Don't. Just take a step back and breathe deeply. I mean, if you don't like a video game, you don't like it. You know, if it's not speaking to you, it's not speaking to you. It doesn't mean that you're wrong, and it doesn't mean that someone else is wrong.
Well, it's all an opinion at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an opinion at the end of the day. Yeah. But personal attacks, I will re-emphasize this again.
Yes, 100%.
Are wrong.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Don't fucking do it, you pricks.
Yes. That's the end of that. Shall we move on to questions? Some more questions.
Yes.
Or did everyone answer that question?
I don't think we did. I think we just went off on the complete
What was
tangent.
the question? What was the question?
Yeah, your highs and lows.
Oh, the highs and lows.
I think we captured it. I think we captured it. I think, to sum it up, essentially, the whole kind of the bringing positives out of lockdown in terms of video gaming and how that helps you, and the downsides is all the infight and arguments over bullshit, which didn't necessarily need to be discussed. Or if it did need to be discussed...
Good old social media, eh?
Yeah. If it did need to be discussed, talk about it amongst yourselves. I don't want to fucking know. Dumb.
Right. Okay, let's go on to Discord questions then. What's my tag says, with the performance of Cyberpunk on the PS4 and Xbox One, what games can you remember from last gen that also ran like shit on the previous gen 360 PS3?
Skyrim. That was always a ropey fucking start, wasn't it?
I had good times with that.
I bought Skyrim.
Never really ran into much issues apart from the spawning enemies in cities.
It really was. Sorry, I'm calling that one out. And there's a bit of news. Apparently, Skyrim's coming to Game Pass if you haven't fucking played it already.
I think there's anyone left who hasn't played it.
I did see people started talking about Skyrim at the Game Awards, and I thought, hold on a minute, what are they releasing Skyrim on the Series X?
It's coming on Game Pass.
PS5.
Yeah, and what a hot mess. I think one big hot mess on the Xbox 360. And I'm sorry if it isn't answering the question wholly. Was Test Drive Unlimited 2? What a whole pile of bullshit!
Oh, that game was amazing.
That was a flawed masterpiece. That's what that game was. It was a flawed masterpiece. If it had worked as it said it should have worked, it would have been awesome.
Yeah, it's just the servers were down.
Is that answering the question? I don't know. What was the question again? I've lost it completely.
What
because of
games
the
ran like
upgraded
shit?
performances, yeah, which games can you think of that ran
Well,
like shit?
on the Xbox 360 PS3 days.
Yeah.
They're big Test Drive Limited too. Done. I remember the first weekend of the first week of Grand Theft Auto 5 on the 360. When
that was epic.
Oh man,
Everyone just stood like an idiot in the same spot,
well,
just
it was because
waiting.
we had the main game, didn't we? Which we played, and it wasn't too buggy. That was, if I remember correctly, because I managed to finish it.
It was reasonably good. They did well getting that out again on that hardware, and it ran reasonably well.
I think it was a 2-week break between launch, before Grand Theft Auto Online came, or something like that, and we all piled on. It got into a virtual lobby. And we had a mission, and it was just a fucking disgrace. It really was a mess. I mean, it was amusing in the sense that I've had my money's worth with the main game already. So let's see what this online thing is.
Yeah.
And fucking hell, it was awful.
It's still popular, It's still super popular. Yeah.
Look at it now. Fixed it, and then I'm guessing this is what they're hoping
for. Yeah.
This is what they're hoping for. Cyberpunk.
Maybe it's gonna take a while.
You still gave me one of the most amusing moments I've seen on Grand Theft Auto Online. Dan,
what was that?
I was in a game with, I think, you and Webby and a few others, and I went over into Webby's apartment and we was waiting for you to turn up, and I think he was in a plane or something like that, and he was trying to land it outside, and we was watching you on the monitor in his apartment, the outside cam of his apartment.
Yeah.
And we see you turn up, and you was like, "I think I've got it, boys," and then you just exploded or something, and we were just cracking up.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
Yeah.
And Battlefield 4 was a mess as well, but that was a cross-generational one, wasn't it? That was a
cross-gen game, yeah.
Yeah, there's been a few online shooters that have had issues. It generally happens a lot, to be honest. Yeah. Let's be real. You do get big games that come out with huge bugs.
I think we're going to see
whatnot.
Yeah, it's kind of reminiscent, this whole thing, from the last gen crossover, I guess, to a degree. What's happening at the moment. I think people have got this new hardware. Well, a select few has got this new hardware, but they're just clamouring to justify, obviously, expense at the moment, as opposed to faster loading times. It's and got quite ray tracing standards yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, it'll just take time. It'll take time.
Give it a couple of years.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Turner says, is CP going to challenge GTA Online when the multiplayer for it comes out? Cyberpunk.
I imagine everyone's clamouring from that now.
Is Cyberpunk going to have some multiplayer? Have I missed something?
Apparently going to be adding multiplayer in an update a year's time from now, or 3 years from the game's launch. They're planning the multiplayer kind of aspect to it.
Oh, that's going to suck balls,
from how it is now, if you're going to try and recreate all of that kind of thing, but then replacing sort of certain NPCs with other players, even that's an ask.
Have they added the multiplayer into Watch Dogs 3 yet? Because that's a very similar position, isn't it?
There is some news.
You can finish that now, can't you? Hasn't it been patched and sorted?
There is some news.
Yeah, go on.
Peeves is trading his copy of Watch Dogs tomorrow. He's put it in the chat.
Yeah, what's he trading in for, though, do you reckon? Do you reckon he's going to get Cyberpunk?
I don't know how much... Well, the question is, should we have a quick sweep status?
On?
What?
What systems Pete's got? Has he got an X?
S.
Yeah.
Oh, an S.
Yeah. I think he should go for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't go for.
I'm going to have a quick look to see how much money he's going to get on CX for his.
On the Series S, it's supposed to be okay, but the S, I'd imagine, is maybe.
Yeah. Well, yeah, as I said, it's. I don't think he's finished it yet. I think he's had some massive problems with it. But I'm just going to have a quick look on CX website to see how much money Peeves is going to get for his Legion.
To be honest, he's better off selling it now while it's still worth money, because even if he wants to go back and finish it, it'll probably be on Game Pass or something maybe at one point, although I don't know if many Ubisoft games do.
Peeps.
15 quid?
If not, it'd be able to buy it cheap anyway by the time you go.
I'm looking at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh dear man. Oh fuck.
How much?
You get £17 cash, or a voucher of £26.
Oh, that's not bad. So if there's a copy of AC there, then that's not too bad. It'd be better than games prices anyway.
Yeah, he paid 50 quid for it.
I know, but it's the value drops, doesn't it?
Yeah.
At least it's worth money. He can sell it back.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's the problem with Ubisoft games. They do drop in price very quickly.
Yeah.
Some do. I think Odyssey and Origins remained reasonably well priced for quite a while.
So,
in comparison to the ones that don't do as well.
For Xbox peeps, right, and CX, they sell for 50 quid.
Oh, fucking hell.
What second hand is that?
Second hand.
God.
Oh, God. It's like, why? Like, that's like 35, 40 quid in my eyes for a second hand copy of a new game.
If you want to trade it in,
second-hand.
if you trade it in for cash, it's 32 quid or voucher 37. So it's holding its value.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's not a broken mess.
100%.
It did launch pretty. Like, we had our fair share of glitches, but they weren't anything near like some other games are having.
Yeah, definitely.
And just for shits and giggles, Cyberpunk.
Although I had a glitch in Valhalla again the other day where I was fighting a monster and it kept attacking thin air constantly, where I apparently once was, and it wouldn't move out of that animation or take damage. Wow. But I always save it before I go in for encounters.
Yeah, good idea.
And if you're curious about selling your Cyberpunk, you get £36 for cash or about a voucher of 40 quid. So, if you are desperate, go to CX, and I guarantee you that will drop very quickly in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But don't expect a great experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so move on questions.
Currently.
Is there any more questions?
Next question. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay, go for it.
Wes asks, what do you think will be the next big multiplayer game in 2021?
Back for what do you call it? What's that Left 4 Dead clone called? What's it called again?
Fuck me. You make
Back for Blood.
Back for
Blood. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be the big game.
Yeah, for us lot maybe. But then
COD for everyone else.
In general,
COD for FIFA for everyone else. Yeah.
You get games come out of nowhere. I mean, obviously we all know there's Overwatch 2 in the works, so that could pop out next year, and that could pretty much.
Well, that's an interesting one. I'm trying to understand
the next COD would be.
The Overwatch is they're running the 2 versions of Overwatch concurrently with it, so Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2 will run side by side still.
I don't really hear people talking about it that much anymore now. Though.
No,
but then I guess what is it now? 4 or 5 years old?
About that, yeah. I think the plan is that they're going to have more of a story-driven game for Overwatch 2, versus obviously the multiplayer, which will remain the core game for the original Overwatch, as far as I understand it. So obviously they'll be adding to that.
I think Fortnite is staying quite popular. They've added Master Chief.
Yeah.
They added another bit of the God of War dude. Yeah.
Kratos.
Yeah, and they've added the that Halo map as well.
Dead.
They've added that map, the Valhalla map from Halo into Fortnite, which is quite cool.
Yeah, they added Michonne and Daryl as well, aren't they? Like, I think that was advertised at the Game Awards.
Oh, do you know the big piece of Game Awards news that I forgot to mention?
What?
Guys, you're not doing your job properly, mate.
Sephiroth is coming to Smash Bros in December.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the trailer for it?
Oh my god, that was so good.
Did you see the nods to iconic moments from like the game and children?
Yes.
And I was like, that's so well done.
Yeah, it was a brilliant trailer. It was so good. Yeah.
It's mad to have like a good couple 2-minute odd trailer for just a character.
Yeah, I think I might actually, because I haven't played it in ages, I might actually just pick it back up when Sephiroth's available and buy him and play it again. Because I've got Cloud. I think Cloud actually just came with the main game, didn't it? So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you had it on the Wii U, it was DLC with the main game.
Yeah.
He's
in the main game in the Switch. The DLC on the Wii U. Yeah.
At the end of the day. It can't be too much of a hard decision, although it is kind of like absolutely fine for that game because it's what it is. Chuck all the characters in there from everything and have a big melee brawl thing kind of thing. That's what it's for. But it's like you can imagine them just going up to certain companies and going, "Yeah, can we put so and so in our Smash Bros? That popular game we've got on Nintendo? We'll also pay you royalties and money to do that." Yeah, all right, cheers.
Yeah, it's cool. It is cool. Right, I'm going to go on to the Facebook questions. We've had a few,
Cool.
so I'm going to burn through those. Steve Powell asks, is it worth buying a Series X at the moment for Cyberpunk?
Depends if you've got a base Xbox. Yeah.
Darren can answer that.
If you want like one of the better experience, if you want the best console experiences, it seems to be on the Series X, the PS5 currently.
Well, if you can find a Series X, then yeah.
If you want a Series X, then grab one anyway.
Yeah.
Even if you can find one now, grab it, because you'll be able to sell it for more than what it was if you paid base price.
Yeah.
I think they're still going for about 600 odd.
People sell them for
CX will sell you. I saw one in CX window for 690 quid. Bargain.
Yeah. Right, I'm only going to read one more question. I'm going to save the rest for next week. So Nige, our resident Hogarth, says, while Cyberpunk has been criticised for the shit show it is on consoles, do you think other game studios would have got away with the fairly low amount of criticism overall? Are CG Projekt Red being given a bit of an easy time due to their past pedigree? Good question.
I think there has been a huge backlash against.
I think there has. I think it's going to get worse as well.
Yeah, I think he might have been talking about the professional, inverted commas, reviews. You look at Metacritic. There's only a few outlets that have put out reviews that are less than like 9 out of 10. You know.
I haven't really read the reviews. I mean, as I said, I did read the one that shall not be named.
Yeah.
And then I thought I'm not reading any more of this whole shit, and I stopped reading any extra reviews. I just saw I did see the screen grab on their Metacritic, and that was it. And I went, oh, it's reviewed well. That'll do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's still got a Metacritic of like 91 or 92 overall. But then you look at the user reviews. You're right there, Dan.
Some have got hammered in the user reviews.
It's like 3 out of 10 on the user reviews. That's like Last of Us 2 levels.
So... Yeah, but that was the Last of Us 2 was done on,
yeah, I know.
Dubious reasons. This is purely because of.
Or was it? You can't say no criticism is valid.
I can say reviewing a game on Metacritic or wherever it is before you've actually played it is a problem.
So now
definitely. Well,
so now they delay it now.
Anyway, they just delay it, and then it happens anyway. If people really want to do that,
I've been banned from posting reviews on Metacritic.
I've gone on there to look at stuff, but I've never posted stuff on there or anything.
Why am I not surprised? Where is it? This looks dog shit, mate.
Yeah, pretty much.
1 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, so I'd say to answer Nigel's question, I think they've been given an easy ride by outlets, even though they have mentioned the bugs, but I think the outlets were under the assumption that the day one patch was going to fix most of the bugs anyway. So you can't give,
they did hold back the console codes until the very last minute. And then when you started
which is a bit shady.
Videos, well, you saw those videos of the PlayStation 4 version, and you just went, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Especially with cars spawning.
I love it. I do love it when they do the harmonica Jurassic Park fucking meme with it.
Yes.
They did it with like No Man's Sky as well. They hype it up with like the traditional music and that, and then it just cuts to actual game release, and it's like so good.
Can't
help but chuckle.
Yeah. So that is interesting because I only gave out PC review code because obviously that's the polished version, depending on your hardware, and then held out the console.
That's the main version of the game, and then everything else come after that.
Yeah.
It's obvious. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was reading something today in the news that they partnered with Nvidia for a lot of the technology, and they also partnered with Intel in the CPU space, whereas the consoles all run on all AMD hardware, so that might have something to do with it as well.
Nothing to me.
Okay, so basically they kind of
conspiracy theories, mate.
Oh, that's a conspiracy theory anyway.
What are you talking about, mate? You're just talking in different language. Stop
No,
it.
so they partnered with the hardware manufacturers that the PC users use, which a lot of PC users use, which is Nvidia and Intel. Because some PC users who have an AMD graphics card and CPU are saying that they're experiencing not great performance, and the conspiracy theory is because CD Projekt Red partnered with Nvidia for the ray tracing stuff and Intel for some certain technology. It runs better on those systems that have that hardware.
That makes no sense in terms of a conspiracy theory. It makes fuck all sense.
Well, I'm just repeating what I said.
But if someone's giving you the stuff like, yeah, use this to develop for it,
yeah,
then you're going to be developing for that. So if it doesn't run as well on the thing, it's not developed solely.
It hasn't been optimized yet, has it?
No, it's gonna take ages to be optimized. I think, but it will get there. It will get there.
Can you imagine like what it's going to end up being? Like even on what you've got, it will still get fondled and sorted out a bit better.
So by the time I actually do play a proper next-gen ray tracing version of this, I might actually be good at the game.
Well, I'll probably have completed it before the patch comes out.
Anniversary edition out by then, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember. See, this is the thing though, Dan. Like I remember Final Fantasy 15, right? I completed it, and there was one mission that was a fucking slog. And then after I finished it, they put a patch out which changed the fucking mission, and they changed some of the story as well. I was gutted.
Well, yeah, that is a bit of a strange.
You got the director's cut, mate.
Yeah, I know.
As opposed to the test audience version, which they got reviewed and slated, so they changed it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just hope it doesn't take too long for them to sort this out. But obviously, we've got Christmas coming up, and something's going to take a while.
There's other things to play, mate.
Yeah, I've got
because obviously the other thing is obviously that comes into the whole sort of thing where they were talking about the crunch argument as well with it.
Yeah. I mean, the crunch thing, I just fucking ignore that shit. I mean,
it does happen generally in all workplaces.
Well, I was going to say, like, I've worked in lots of different jobs where they've been like, right, you need to work overtime today,
Yeah, but you need to come in and do this.
Yeah, it's just normal, and they get fucking paid overtime for it. So what are you moaning about, you lazy fucks? Just fucking make your money and stop bitching like pussies. That's my opinion, anyway. And just be thankful in this day and age with COVID, you got a fucking job, and you haven't been made redundant or put on furlough, you fucking pricks. Well, there we go.
Oh man. Oh, dearie me, solidarity, brother. I guess you're not part of a fucking union.
No, and I was, and I'll never be part of one again. Anyway, on that note, I think we should end the show.
End the show,
yeah. Yeah, I think everyone's gone to bed on the Twitch.
More, give me my games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, it's been fun this week. Thank you guys. I've really enjoyed it. Next week we'll be talking more Cyberpunk. I'm going to discuss Assassin's Creed Valhalla because I completed it this week, but I haven't had time to talk about it, so saving that.
And there'll be a new Gears 5 expansion next week as well for me to talk about.
Exciting.
And it's been snowing in Animal Crossing World, so yeah.
That's definitely the most exciting thing for next week's show.
And in that time, we'll probably have had another 2 updates for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
About 80 gigs worth.
Well, on GOG, Good Old Games, the launcher, which is where I bought the game, because 100% of the profits for buying the game go to CD Projekt Red, because I actually own GOG. I've had for the last couple of days, the cloud sync for the game saves hasn't been working. It's been saying cloud sync is delayed due to a heavy load. It will restart next.
Cloud.
Yeah, so I've not got any cloud saves.
Oh well, just wait for the massive dump that's going to come soon.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, that's the end of this week's show. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been awesome. 2 hours 41 minutes. Bloody hell, I was expecting this to be a short one, but there we
and
go.
we didn't even get to games played properly.
Yeah, didn't even talk about what we've been playing.
Well,
Is this a Patreon episode? Or
no, this is a normal one.
This is even better. This is actually get listened to. Peeves,
you're
missing out, man.
Well, I'm debating whether to give everyone next week's show as a Christmas present because it's a Christmas show next week.
I'm sure that'd be fine. The whole 15 people who subscribed won't give a shit.
Well,
most of them are.
I'll have to ask them.
Someone's shaking a fist.
I'll have to ask them because I've got 17 patrons now.
17, man.
Yeah.
But we call something else for them, yeah? Like a nice little Christmas show.
Well, I lost.
I'm not going to fucking sing, though.
Yeah. Well, I lost a couple of patrons this month, but then gained a few as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of all worked out.
Well, we'll come up with something else. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Something special.
Yeah. Yeah. Game of the Year show will gate that off. That will make everyone happy, won't it?
It's fine.
Possibly.
Would we do that?
Yeah, great. At least 17 people knew what my top 5 games were.
Well, we already know what Webbins is and what mine is, so you might heard all the good stuff.
You might be in for a surprise. You don't know.
There's some battling going on. There is some battling going on this year, I think.
Well, in your head.
Well, with quite a few games to a degree.
There's been some really good games this year.
Best one I've played all year.
Yeah, I think it's harder filling up the other 4 spaces to compare to number 1. So I'm going to struggle internally. I think I'll have a slight breakdown the next week or 2.
Fair enough.
Or maybe not. Or maybe might actually finish some games as opposed to let them sit there and just spew.
Stagnate,
exactly.
Yeah, get on it. Right, anyway, that's the end of this week's show. So for me, Mark Webb, Gamma Tag, Pistol D, Steam ID, Webby, 360G.
Cheers. Robo Nipples for the win. Cinema Dan.
What the hell?
Did you have a choice? You had a choice on the character creation.
I thought you would have chosen a chick with a dick.
Who's gone past that weird...
For the win, man. Underpants for the win.
Yeah, which one of you guys have gone past that weird advertisement that's like, orgasm or something, isn't it? Like, for some, drink thing.
Oh, I don't know.
What the hell?
Anyway, you're supposed to say goodbye.
Don't say switch. Yeah, goodbye. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very much. This has been a really funny show. If you would like to listen to a show every single week of the year, then subscribe to our Patreon. That is patreon.com/360gamercast. There you get an RSS feed, pump it into your favourite podcast app on your phone or device or whatever, and you will get a show every single week. I have been notified today, though, by a Patreon subscriber that it doesn't work with Spotify. Spotify does not allow you to put personal RSS feeds.
Spotify is shit anyway, mate. Don't pay people properly.
Yeah, so if you want to use Spotify as your primary podcast listening software, then the Patreon shows will not go into Spotify. So use something better like Pocket Casts.
Exactly.
That's what
Don't
I recommend.
Give Spotify any more money.
Yeah,
they can afford Joe Rogan, but they can't afford anyone else. They don't pay him properly. So fuck
yeah.
him.
Well, I had a student subscription, but I cancelled it because they were not allowing it anymore. So I said, "Fuck you." I've never really used it anyway, to be honest. To be fair, I mean, when I'm on my computer, I normally listen to music on YouTube. To be honest,
YouTube. Oh, there we go.
Because I like a bit of retro wave. You see,
I have an extensive digital library and actual physical media. So
yeah, I don't have room for that, mate. My house is tiny.
Neither do I, mate. My flat's tiny, but it does look fucking good.
Awesome. So yeah, that website address again is patreon.com/360gamercast. You can find me on Twitter at Webby360G. You can find the 360G one, just search for 360gamercast on Twitter, Facebook, and if you want to join our awesome Discord, the link for that is in the show notes. That's the end of this week's show. It's way past my bedtime because I've got work in the morning. So anyway, we'll see you next week. Goodbye. It's like 11:30.
It's like, I think they had more endings than fucking Return of the King.
I can't believe that. I was expecting, because I wasn't expecting you on, Dan. I mean, it's very nice you turned up. So thank you very much.
I was watching the Gorillas live stream. I was watching Gorillas do live, and I'm thinking, how long is this going to go on for? He was only on for an hour and 20 minutes. So I had a bit of fun watching that. It was all right.
So I was thinking, oh, it'll only be me and Darren. Probably be about an hour and a half max, and we've gone for
it wouldn't
almost
it
3
wouldn't.
hours. Well, the stream has been for 2 hours and 59 minutes, whereas the recording's 2 hours and 46. So
well, we've had enough padding, so as I said, that's what I aim to do. Pad things out.
Good fun. Good fun. Yeah.
I think the comments on the Twitch chat have dried up. I think everyone's fallen asleep.
Well, we went down. I think the maximum we had at a time was like 15, and it's now gone down to 3. And one of them is me. I think one of them's probably Dan, and one of them's probably Switch. Oh, Clarky's still there. Hello, Clarky. Yeah. Well, at least we know that Clarky's there.
Just fucking looking at this bored. Everyone's stupid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Sunday night. I mean, I don't expect people to start till bloody 11:30 at night listening to us waffle.
I don't have to be up till, I don't know. I'm wired. I've had too much caffeine again. I might be playing video games for the next hour and a half.
I'm pretty tired. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning. So
I had heartburn last night. Too much chicken wings, halloumi fries, and alcohol.
Oh, my little boy woke me up.
6.5 hours straight. Right.
Well, my boy woke me up, so I couldn't get back to sleep. So I thought, well, I don't start work till 7, so I'm just going to play Cyberpunk until 7 o'clock. So that's all I did.
Nice.
So
it's much better playing that game at night, though. I will say, in a darkened room.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get on it tomorrow after I do my half day. Lol.
Part-timer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much. It is part-time. I do 50% furlough, mate.
Yeah, I know,
it's hilarious. It is. I always say it's hilarious. I get as much work done in that half the time. Well, I literally plough through it. So, all reporting tomorrow and then setting up the rest of the week, and I'll probably run out of things to do until later on in the week.
It's weird because, obviously... Yeah, carry on. Sorry.
No, you go, man.
No, I was about to say just a weird dilemma. Like my mate was asking me earlier on about what I thought of Cyberpunk. Yeah, and I know he likes FPS games, and obviously he likes GTA.
Yeah,
like quite a lot. He generally plays through those games, but he didn't get on with Fallout.
Yeah.
He found it far too sort of RPG-ish, and I was kind of like, it's annoying because like you would love the setting and everything else to it, I think, and the way you interact with characters for the missions, which fleshes them out and gives them way more life than they do in like other sort of games like that. But I think like with all the stats, perks, and the upgrades and the gun, the cybernetics, cybernetics, and all your other bits and bobs, it'd just be too much for him, and it's kind of annoying.
Well, he might enjoy it. You never know. You never know, do you?
Yeah, it's hard. It's one of those hard recommends.
Yeah,
it's one of those hard recommends, but it is, like I say, it's a lot to get into, like, and think about.
Yeah,
like with everything that's actually
it's awesome.
There. It is very much an RPG.
Yes, 100%.
Like every time I'm spending a stat point, I'm like constantly thinking, like, am I making the right choice here, leveling this up?
But that's because you've got a bit of OCD there, Darren. Whereas I'm just like, I'll chuck it there. Fuck it, I don't care.
Well, not just generally just have it there. You have to look over what you're sort of trying to aim towards, like when it comes to obviously leveling your character up.
You should have seen me doing my perk tree on Assassin's Creed. I just got to the point where it's like, I'll just fucking chuck it anywhere. I don't care.
Yeah, done. Skip to the ends.
Yeah. That was towards the end though, where I'd pretty much got all the good stuff, but I was just like, oh, fuck it, I just want my level. But job done. Anyway, guys, I need to go because I need to go to bed. I'm tired. I've got work tomorrow.
Should get out of bed. I don't have to really get up too early, but it's nice.
So I dropped in and out there.
Oh, well, I'm dropping off. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been awesome.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries, man.
Right, see you later.
Yeah. Adios. Sleep tight.
See you, Clarky, since you're the only one left.
Go to work tomorrow. You'll love it.
See you later.
See you later.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.